All right, good afternoon. Welcome to Board of Adjustment. We've got a quorum, it's 1:30. Let's call the meeting to order. Receive the minutes. Did everybody look at the minutes?
I did, Mr. Chair. I'd like to make a motion to receive the minutes for May 15th, 2025.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Cast your votes.
He's in. You might have to redo it. His is stuck. Or-
All right, minutes are received. Continuance request, Cindy?
We have two new continuance requests, item number 25, case number 15939 to July 17th, and item number 1, case number 15903 to July 17th.
Do we have a motion to continue those?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the continuance request as read.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to continue those two items. Cast your votes. And those two are deferred. All right. Is there any applicant here?
Yeah, that thing right there.
Is there an applicant here or anybody in the audience who needs to request a continuance on their item?
There should be. Here, you can have this one. There's
I
one
don't
in
have
there.
a consent docket. So first one was continued. You want to call the next item, please?
Item number 2, case number 15951 is a request of Purvi Patel of Wallace Design Collective on behalf of YPR Stein LLC for a variance to building height, parking, and screening requirements in the I-2 district located at 715 East Grand Boulevard.
With Wallace Design Collective. I am here this afternoon representing the applicant for three variances on the site. The property is zoned I-2, and the surrounding zonings are I-2 on the south and east, as well as R1 on the north and south. Oklahoma City owns majority of the land abutting our western property line, and the property is used for a regional detention area. And there is a parcel to the southwest that's is zone residential, is used for residential, as well as some vehicle storage areas in the back. So the three variance requests we have is to allow for a taller building adjacent to the land adjacent to the land with Oklahoma City, and relief from the parking requirements based on our building size and operation, and relief from the landscape buffer along the western property boundary. For the taller building, we have two proposed buildings. There's one that's closer to the residentially zoned property in use to the southwest. That will meet all of the code requirements. It's the building that's larger to the north that abuts the Oklahoma City zone parcel. We are requesting for a 45-foot tall building at 63 feet from the property line. The code would require us to be 95 foot based on the setbacks required for the height. I did include a picture. Sarah passed around a picture right now, sorry. It's really hard to see with the trees and the amount of rain we've gotten right now, but it just shows the elevation difference we have from our site to the Oklahoma City site. There's about a 12-foot drop, and the Google street picture I was able to capture shows that height. It was taken at the same elevation as our property. And then as far as the parking requirements, the operation is a steel and iron fabrication site, so they require larger material storage areas as well as cranes within the buildings, resulting in a much larger building than what you would typically see. So there are also two existing homes on the site right now. They'll be converted to office space and storage. And we are requesting that for the 65,000 square foot proposed new industrial buildings and the existing residential, that we provide 60 parking spaces versus the 85 for the industrial and 21 for the office, just based on the size of building needed for the use and the number of employees. 52 is the maximum number of employees, and there'll be no public on site as well. And the third and final variance is for the landscape buffer. The residential property to the southwest, for majority of their frontage, already has an existing metal fence that's 8 feet tall. The front portion of it that's just south of that tree line, there's just a chain link fence, and we're requesting not to put in an opaque site-proof fence there just for site distance issues and safety as they exit the building. There's the second picture that got passed around today shows that Oklahoma City did recently finish their trail in front of their property, and so if we were to complete that fence, any vehicles exiting that residential property wouldn't be able to see anyone until it was too late. And the second landscape variance is due to the use and the elevation difference we have to the west along the shared property line with Oklahoma City. We're just requesting a variance to the landscape buffer and screening, as well as a 5-foot buffer. I spoke a lot. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Nobody signed up to speak on this one. Is there anybody who wants to address the board on this application? Okay, anything from the board? Oh, wait a minute. Not for this one? Okay.
I've reviewed the application and looked at the property, and I'm in agreement with all of the variances, and the reason there's obviously never going to be anything built to the west. Setbacks don't really make that big of a difference then, and there's a lot of landscape buffer already existing on the properties.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yeah, I'm good with it. I just had a question in regards to the landscape buffer that would be, I heard your explanation on the fence to the residential property, just on the south end, but what would we be giving up on the landscape buffer on that same south end?
On the south end there, so the existing fence is already there. We will provide the required 5-foot landscape buffer per code. We're just requesting for that variance, the site proofing, just on that frontage portion.
I got you.
The trail goes right along the property line on the east side.
Anything else? Any other questions or comments? Okay, I think we're ready for a motion then.
I'll make it. Motion to approve case number 15951 for the purpose that it meets the statutory requirements for the requested variance.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Cast your votes.
Thank you.
You're approved.
Item number 3 is case number 15952, is a request of Box Law Group on behalf of Yellowstone Investment Group for a variance to front yard setback platted building line located at 510 through 524 South Cemetery Road.
Good afternoon, Caitlin Turner, 525 Northwest 11th Street, here on behalf of the applicant. So the application before you is for a variance to the front yard setback. There are 4 duplex structures that are currently developed and are there today. The biggest variance, or the biggest encroachment, is actually only 7 inches. You can see there that the road kind of curves and slants downwards, which caused this discrepancy. We did have to amend the PUD as well, since it's currently governed by a PUD. That has already been done to accommodate basically a 19-foot front yard setback. Since it's platted, we have to come before you today as well to fully clean it up. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Nobody signed up on this one. Does anybody want to address the board on this application? Okay, anything from the board?
I don't have anything. I reviewed the case, and it's 7 inches, and so it's a minimal amount of a variance. It's probably just in the curvature and trying to get the survey correct.
We good?
Ready for a motion?
All right. Motion to approve case number 15952 for the purpose that it meets the statutory requirements for the requested variance.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Cast your votes.
Thank you.
Approved.
Item number 4, case number 15953 is a request of Box Law Group on behalf of North Lane Development LLC for a variance to the development regulations in DTD-1 Downtown Traditional District Limited, located at 716 Northwest 6th Street.
One more time, Caitlin Turner, 525 Northwest 11th Street, here on behalf of the applicant who's here with me. So this item is to seek two variances. One is to the minimum height requirement in DTD, which is a two-story product. We're seeking a one-story product. And then the second one is there's a requirement that all buildings must be located within 10 feet of the right-of-way. So we do have buildings along, or proposed structures along Northwest 6th Street that do comply with that. However, every single building on this site has to also comply with that. Since this is an interior lot rather than one on a hard corner, we're needing to seek a variance request for that as well. The CA application went before DDC already. They approved the CA, and they also made a recommendation of approval to this body for these two variances that we're requesting. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you all have.
Nobody signed up on this one. Does anybody want to address the board on this application?
Laura Griggs is also here if anyone has questions about that DDC
Okay.
hearing.
No, they recommended approval. This is a little infill development, and it's only going to be till December 31st, 2030?
5.
Or you'd come back and
Exactly.
ask for a longer term, so.
It's a very underutilized kind of area, so this is going to be an interim development until it inevitably changes in the next few years, so.
Anything else from the board?
Good.
I think we're ready for a motion.
Motion to approve case number 15953 for the purpose that it meets the statutory requirements for the requested variance.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Cast your votes.
Thank you.
Approved.
Item number 5, case number 15955 is an application by Deborah and Mark DeVos to allow home sharing located at 1223 Northwest 21st Street.
Hi, my name is Deborah DeMoss, and I'm here about 1223 Northwest 21st Street. Dear board members, my husband and I purchased this home on 21st Street the end of March this year. Please bear with me for a moment while I share with you the heart and the reason behind our purchase for this home. And our son owns a home in that same neighborhood of Gatewood, and he has for the last 11 years. In the last year, he got married to our sweet daughter-in-law, and they have now begun classes to take their next step toward building their family in what maybe many say as a non-conventional way. They will be building their family through fostering at-risk children from the community with the goal to love them, adopt them, and raise them as their own. We have visited regularly over the last 11 years since our sons owned this home, but now owning our home on 21st Street will allow us to be more available, more supportive, more involved in the lives of our future precious grandchildren. Our plan is to divide our time between our OKC home and our home in Texas. We would like to be able to home share the OKC home when we are out of town visiting our other kids and grandkids. Home sharing will make the dream of spending quality time with family in two different states more financially feasible. With this plan, we will be very involved owners of the property and care for it well, as we will be living there part-time and bringing our grandchildren into the home when we are in town. We are already good neighbors. We have already made many improvements to this home. We have also gotten to know multiple neighbors and shared our phone number with them in case a need arises. If the board would grant us the exception to be able to home share this home, we would greatly appreciate it.
Nobody signed up to speak on this one. Does anybody want to address the board on this application? Okay, anything from the board?
Just a couple of clarifications on the application and
Yes.
maybe a couple of slight changes. First is the number of guests. You have 3 bedrooms, but you have 8 maximum guests.
Yes.
Can you tell me how you can get to 8 in a 3-bedroom home?
Because of some of the older homes have large bedrooms, one of the bedrooms will accommodate 2 queen beds, and oftentimes in Airbnbs, that is a situation where 2 queen beds will be in the same room. Does that
Can you
make
tell me
sense?
how many baths are in the room or in the house?
2.
So it's 3 bed, 2 bath. So as far as that, would you be willing to go to 7 as a maximum? Would be 2 per bedroom and plus 1.
Is there a reason that you need to?
It's just something that
that?
I tend to try to go to the 2 per bedroom maximum, and then a plus 1 if there's a reason for the plus 1.
Okay, can I present to you the fact that we also have accommodations of a sofa bed that we weren't counting and nor would we be using unless it was just somebody wanting that extra space? Would that make up the ability to have 8?
Because it can sleep 9.
So it technically can sleep, 9. So,
Okay, I mean,
I'd like to know the dimension of the room. This is.
2 queen
that
beds is a
doesn't
lot
count.
in one room.
Right.
So, yeah. Do you know how big that room is that has 2 queens?
I want to say it's 14 by 12.
Which is probably what I was thinking too. So we'll think about that. And another one would be the quiet hours. I'd like to reduce the quiet hours to 9 p.m. to 8 a.m. Just
No
kind of a
problem at
standard
all.
that I like to go to.
That's not a problem at all.
And then the number of vehicles. And I went by the property. I believe the 2 vehicles will fit in the driveway on the south side of the fence, where the fence starts. Trying to park a car where the fence is, I don't think you could get out of the car. It's so tight on the side of the house.
It does, the home does notch in.
Yeah, it has that.
Behind the fence, I measured it this morning because I thought this might come up. There's 28 feet behind the fence if we needed to accommodate. And then there is 76 feet from the gate to where the sidewalk is. But I understand what you're saying. If you can't get out of the vehicle, you can't.
Can't really park it
Park.
there. Yeah.
Unless you have an escape hatch through the roof, I don't know. So what would that change for us?
I just wanted to put a maximum number that you could put in the driveway, and I'll go with 3.
Okay,
And
Okay, thank you.
And then I would like to put a caveat to no street parking allowed during the quiet hours. So after 9 p.m., you couldn't have a car parked in the street.
okay,
And the term, this is the first time this has come up, so the term would be for 1 year.
okay, yes, I understand. Everybody that I've talked to in the city has been super helpful, and they told me that it would be a one-year term to make sure that we were good neighbors.
Yep.
You can request as many years as you want, but there's a high likelihood you'll get 1 year.
Okay,
On the
well then,
first
if I can request, I would love to, but I understand.
Yeah.
Do
Not
you
a
have any other
problem.
questions?
So I'd like to hear from
I-
about the number.
I believe that the guidance that we got from the city when they made their changes earlier this year says 3, when we're considering guests, it's 3 times 2, or 2 people per bedroom, plus 1. So that is literally
The ordinance says plus 2. It actually does say plus 2.
Does it say plus 2?
Yeah. But I always go to the plus 1 because it just seems,
I mean, we can definitely grant you for 7. I'd still without maybe looking at a picture to see that there is enough room so they're not packing people in like sardines. I think that's my
Yeah,
biggest
no.
concern.
Last year, we rented two different opportunities to rent an Airbnb in downtown Oklahoma City with our son getting married and different events around that. And the home that, two of the homes, both homes that we rented had two different beds. So that's why I just thought that that was totally acceptable and what the norm was. That's all.
Right. No, and it does not happen very often that we're getting rooms that can fit two queen-size bed. So,
Yeah, and with that situation, we've shared with one of the other families and kids with our grandkids, and the parents and children stayed in that room, which actually was quite ideal for them to be in the same room with their parents. So,
pull it out.
Yeah.
I'll get behind whatever you guys.
Hard to say. I can go either way. It's hard to say without knowing exactly the dimensions of the bedroom.
Right.
And it comes, you're saying, well, you could put the kids in there or whatever, but sometimes, you don't know who's renting it. And so, 8 adult men that are here to work over 30 days or whatever in one 3-bedroom house with 2 baths is just, it's a lot. And so that's what I go to and thinking of my,
yeah, it would not be my desire to have anyone in there for 30 days because the whole premise of us doing this is us being able to have the home ourselves to be part of our kids' and grandkids' lives. So
Yep.
I understand, but it isn't, we're just not randomly doing an Airbnb.
I mean, my proposal is going to be, we can approve 7 if you want 8, maybe coming back at the next meeting and maybe providing.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
I can get behind approving 7 today, but if you want 8, maybe continuing this to the next meeting and then actually getting a layout of how the 2 beds will fit into that room. It's going to be my suggestion on it.
Okay,
Or you can take 7 today. I mean, it
I'll take 7 today.
tends to be easier. And in a year, you'll come back and you'll know the system and we'll review it again. And if you run a really good business, we're going to give you more than a year. So, if
Okay.
you're in agreement with all those changes, we can make a recommendation.
Okay, and then somebody will give me the printout since I don't necessarily remember exactly what I just agreed to.
Yep.
All right, then I'll make a motion to approve case number 15955 for the purpose that it meets the statutory requirements for the requested special exceptions with the following modifications. Maximum number of guests shall be 7 for a term of 1 year, 3-car maximum, quiet hours from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., and no on-street parking during the quiet hours.
Thank
Second.
you very much.
Motion and a second, cast your votes. And you're approved.
Item number 6, case number 15956 is an application by Jonathan Reyes to allow home sharing located at 3609 Northwest 26th Street.
Good afternoon. My name is Jonathan Reyes. I'm the owner of 3609 Northwest 26th. This is going to be my second Airbnb property, short-term rental, and that is my plan on doing with this property. It is a 2-bed, 1-bath home. As you guys can see there, it's got parking for 2 vehicles. That's a Google Maps picture. It's been updated since, but we have fully remodeled the interior of the property. I bought this in December, and it's ready for Airbnb as of now.
Nobody signed up on this one? Is there anybody that wants to address the board on this application? Okay, anything from the board?
Just a couple things on the application and in reviewing it. 2-bedroom, 1-bath, so the maximum number of guests you're looking for,
What's that?
the maximum number of guests.
I have 5 on there, so same layout as my last house, 5512 North Roth Avenue. It's a 2-bed, 1-bath. I have a queen bed in one bedroom, and I have 2 twin beds in that second bedroom. So that allows for 4 guests and the children to stay at the property.
So 1 queen,
1 queen, 2
2
twins
twins.
in that second bedroom. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that allows for
three spots for people, or 4, and 2 in the
Correct.
queen?
Yes.
And then,
1 children. So that's 5 guests total.
okay, where's the child gonna go?
So with the parents. So it's only if it's a child. So it'll be 5 guests total.
Okay, so I'm gonna recommend to you 4.
Okay.
You have the quiet hours from 9 PM to 8 AM already.
Yes.
As far as the number of vehicles that you can keep on the property, I'm gonna put a maximum of 3. I think 3 can fit easy.
That's, yeah. 2 is usually the standard of what people bring, 2 vehicles.
Yep. And then I'm gonna ask for no on-street parking on this.
That is totally
And then the
fine.
term would be for 1 year.
Okay.
That works.
Good?
Ready for a motion?
All right. Motion to approve case number 15956 for the purpose that it meets the statutory requirements for the requested special exceptions with the following modifications. Maximum number of guests shall be 4, a term of 1 year, 3-car maximum, quiet hours from 9 PM to 8 AM, and no on-street parking during the quiet hours.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Cast your votes.
And there was, there was one written protest in the application.
Yes.
Did you get that?
I did.
So
I did.
just reach out to them.
Yes, I will.
Email,
That's
phone
my
call.
plan. In talking with them, they're an elderly couple. I know they're kind of like, what's going on? But I'm gonna reiterate and let them know, kind of.
That way they'll have your
mention this.
contact.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Item number 7, case number 15917, is an application by Jay Gallagher on behalf of Peebles Real Estate LLC to allow home sharing at 1401 Northwest 24th Street, Suite H1, and he has the next 5 after this.
Hello, Jay Gallagher. This is my wife, Cody. Home address 1309 Glenbrook Terrace. So we've got 6 applications here. It's a 6-unit building at 1401 Northwest 24th Street. They're all 3-bedroom, 3-bath, pretty much identical layouts for the building. The downstairs is a little bit smaller just to allow the hallway to go up through the stairs, but other than that, they're pretty identical.
Okay, nobody signed up. Just a minute. Now, nobody signed up on this one. Does anybody want to address the board on this application? Okay,
Okay, I do remember the first time this came through and the conversations that we had. So they're 3-bedroom units, and on this one you have a maximum number of guests of 6. The parking, how did we do the parking? Remember what we discussed? Was it 1 car? Because
So
they had 1 designated spot?
On the north side, there's a parking lot. There's 8 total spots. I think 2, if I remember correctly, 2 are handicapped. On the south side, there's an additional 2 spots. There's also plenty of street parking kind of
And
around.
I don't think I regulated street parking with this. I think I allowed it, if I
Okay.
remembered correctly, so.
The parking lot itself on the north side is pretty good size.
So would you be favorable to 2 cars per unit?
Yeah, yeah.
Would be okay? Okay. And again, I wouldn't limit street parking, so 2 in the parking lots and,
Yeah, and honestly, in that area, that we don't advise street parking anyway. We kind of, because there's cameras and strategic spots to kind of watch the cars, so.
and it's the second tub, so term of 3 years.
I'm okay.
Yeah, I would go 3. It's timely application.
And I did want to bring up possibly if we can maybe do 7 instead, since
Only in the top 4.
only in the top 4. They're slightly bigger. The middle room actually has 2 queen beds in it. It's a big middle room.
Okay. But this one is
Oh, correct.
Correct,
We're on
yes.
H1 right now.
H1's the
Yeah.
bottom, this would be
So
6.
H1 would be 6.
Yeah, so we'll discuss each one.
Okay.
I think we worked that within one building, that we're having 6 separate.
Because they are renewing timely.
Right.
So be sure to renew timely because the ordinance changed and they wouldn't probably allow this if you let that lapse.
And what was the determination that we made last time as far as what is considered a hotel?
We never really got it, I don't think.
I don't know that you all. I don't know that you all made a decision about it. I know you did review a unit that had several units within it.
Right.
But I think the code would have to say this is a hotel and used as a hotel
Right.
in order for it to be one.
But this is its own standalone building where all the units are being utilized for short-term rentals.
Yes.
Zoned R1, or R4.
Zoned R4, but used residentially. So,
So we don't have any concerns as to whether or not we're trying to skirt around any hotel regulations.
I don't see any, but I think the use itself will let you know. And when it's time to renew, you'll have that information, perhaps from code enforcement, that will tell you what actually is happening on the property.
And one other, I wanted to make adjustment to the quiet hours. You have from 10 to 10. I'd like to go from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m.
9 to 8, okay, yeah. And side note, we do have noise monitors in each unit. They're Minute is the brand.
Yep. And again, I'll say, I mean, there's no protests, no one's here, so obviously the last year has been at least run well enough. But
Yeah, and I did have a question on the topic of the apartment stuff. Is that something that you guys will kind of let us know in the future if anything? Sorry, the hotel?
Yeah.
Can you let us know that, if that something changes on that? Because it is a little odd that we're doing 6 licenses for, one building. So,
Yep.
I mean, is this grandfathered in? Because I don't think we can do this.
Well, I
under-
don't-
Right, you?
I don't know that we
Well,
will.
we wouldn't be able to do it just for the total number, but since these are just renewal applications, that's what, as long as
Right.
they're renewed timely, then I don't
Yeah.
see any issue.
So that's why it wouldn't be allowed to be happen, because there'd be, unless the block was really big, but it would go over the 10%. So you can only have 10% homestead special exceptions in one individual block.
got it.
Yeah.
And that's in effect now, it's just that
Yeah.
you already were operating these and had a special exception for it, so as long as on time each time, you shouldn't have an issue.
Okay.
What changes do you make?
Quiet hours.
Quiet hours and a maximum number of vehicles too. It wasn't in there,
Okay.
in the term.
We're doing 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Make sure Mike's,
Okay,
you good, Mike?
I'm good.
Okay, all right. Motion to approve then, case number 15917, for the purpose that it meets the statutory requirements for the requested special exceptions with the modifications. The quiet hours shall be from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., a 2-car maximum, and a term of 3 years.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Cast your votes.
How many guests was that?
6.
Okay.
You're approved.
Thank you.
Item number 8, case number 15918 is special exception by Jay Gallagher for home sharing located at 1401 Northwest 24th Street, Suite H2.
Okay, so this is the same floor, same size,
So also 6.
so also 6 guests for that one.
And you're good with the changing of the quiet hours to 9 p.m. to 8 a.m.,
Yep, sounds great.
term for 3 years?
Nobody signed up to speak on this one. Does anybody want to address the board on this application? Okay, ready for a motion?
All right, motion to approve case number 15918 for the purpose that it meets the statutory requirements for the requested special exceptions with the modification that quiet hours shall be from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., a 2-car maximum, and for a term of 3 years.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. You're approved.
Thank you.
Item number 9, case number 15920 is an application by Jay Gallagher on behalf of Peoples Real Estate Holdings for home sharing located at 1401 Northwest 24th Street, Suite 8H3.
So H3
Start with
is-
your name and address again.
Okay,
for
Jay
the record.
Gallagly, 1309 Glenbrook Terrace. Here for H3, which is on the second floor. It's slightly bigger. So it has a queen bed in the north room, 2 queen beds in the middle room, and a queen bed in the back room. So we'd ask for the approval for 7, if that's possible.
How many baths are there? 2?
3.
3? Yeah, okay.
3 full bathrooms.
Yeah. And you can actually accommodate 8. We'll take 7,
Pretty easily, yeah.
okay? The same on the vehicles too?
Correct.
Okay. Nobody signed up on this one. Is there anybody that wants to address the board on this application? Okay, I think we're ready for a motion.
Yep.
Motion to approve case number 15920 for the purpose that it meets the statutory requirements for the requested special exceptions with the modifications that maximum number of guests shall be 7, quiet hours from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., 2-car maximum for a term of 3 years.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Cast your votes. You're approved.
Thank you.
Item number 10, case number 15919 is an application by Jay Gallagher for home sharing located at 1401 Northwest 24th Street, Suite H4.
Jay Gallagly, 1309 Glenbrook Terrace, here to apply. This is the second floor as well. Similar layout as the previous one. There's 2 queen beds in the front room, or I'm sorry, 1 queen bed on the north side room, 2 queen beds in the middle, and 1 queen bed in the back room. So we'd ask for 7 guests.
So just change the application would be the quiet hours to 9 p.m. to 8 a.m.
Yep,
Maximum number of vehicles to be 2, and the term of 3 years.
correct.
Does anybody want to address the board on this application? Nobody signed up. Okay.
All right, motion to approve case number 15919 for the purpose that it meets the statutory requirements for the requested special exceptions with the following modifications. A maximum number of guests shall be 7, quiet hours from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., 2-car maximum 3 years, for a term of 3 years.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Cast your votes. Okay.
Is it ready? I'm sorry.
Ready?
Item number 11, case number 15921 is an application by Jay Gallagher to allow home sharing located at 1401 Northwest 24th Street, Suite H5.
Jay Gallagly, 1309 Glenbrook Terrace, here to apply for 7 guests for, this is the top level, identical layout to the second floor. So there's 1 queen bed in the north bedroom, 2 queens in the middle, and 1 queen in the back. So similar, 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., 2 cars, 3 years.
Does anybody want to address the board on this application? Nobody signed up.
Same conditions?
Same conditions.
Okay. You go with same conditions on this one
Absolutely.
and the next one then?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm memorizing it at this point.
All right. Motion to approve case number 15921 for the purpose that it meets the statutory requirements for the requested special exception with the modifications that maximum number of guests shall be 7, quiet hours from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., 2-car maximum, and for a term of 3 years.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Cast your votes.
Thank you.
You're approved.
Thank you.
Item number 12, case number 15922 is an application by Jay Gallagher to allow home sharing located at 1401 Northwest 24th Street, Suite H6.
Jay Gallagly, 1309 Glenbrook Terrace. This is the last one. It's on the 3rd floor. Identical layout to the previous one. Queen bed in the front, north bedroom, 2 queens in the middle, and 1 queen in the back. 9 PM to 8 AM, quiet hours, 2 cars, 3-year term. 7 guests if that's allowed.
Nobody signed up, so is there anybody who wants to address the board on this application? Okay, I think we're ready for a motion.
All right, motion to approve case number 15922 for the purpose that it meets the statutory requirements for the requested special exception with the modifications as stated, 7 guests, quiet hours 9 PM to 8 AM, 2-car maximum, and for a term of 3 years.
Second.
Motion and a second, cast your votes. You're approved.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for
Can
your
I
time.
just ask a question, and that's just for my information, but just, you have 2 buildings right next to each other downtown, and your short-term lease in every room in both buildings. The occupancy rate, is it good, or, I mean, just for the neighbors and feedback and?
70%
Do what now?
occupancy rate, he's asking.
So far, yeah, 70 or more, yeah. We've done this a while, though. We're pretty good at it at this point.
Yeah, I thought we maybe had a conversation about maybe long-term leasing some of these too. I just didn't know.
Right, yeah, that's a strategy, that we can try to get more long-term, mid-term, and then maybe backfill in with some small short-term,
But
but
right now, all 6 units are just short-term.
correct.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 13, case number 15930 is an application by Libby Ross on behalf of Brandon Kawichi to allow home sharing at 1400 Northwest 88th Street.
Hello, my name is Libby Ross. I live at 8500 Benny Bruce in Norman, Oklahoma, and I am here to represent Brandon on a renewal as we recently just took over and just trying to keep him at compliance. I think he's due for renewal now.
Okay. I don't have anybody signed up to speak on this one. Is there anybody that wants to address the board on this application? Okay, anything from the board?
Just a few questions. And first, Libby, how long have you been the property manager on this?
It was an off and on again deal. It's been a weird experience with this house. It was robbed. It was broken into. There was some vandalization from the neighbors. And then he went into a midterm stay. But we've had maybe 3 bookings in the last couple of weeks off of it. But it's been mainly actually used for long-term and midterm, even though he had got his special exemption last year. Right after he got it, the house was, it was a disaster. So, and then there was some really sad stuff that happened to the guy with some promises from another manager. And I did see the letter, the op, and I would agree with everything that was there. The fence should be repaired, and we provide trash service to our customers, so I believe everything that was an issue there, we squash it out pretty quick with our company.
Anybody signed up to speak?
Nobody on this one? Does anybody want to address the board on this application? Okay.
So is it a 3-bedroom? Is that right?
No, it's a 4-bedroom.
Okay. I knew
3
it
bath.
said 4 bedrooms, or 4 rooms being offered. I didn't know if those are all bedrooms.
No, it's 4 bedrooms and 3 baths, and then a really large living rooms.
So pretty good-sized house.
It is, and then it has 2 driveways to it. It has a curved driveway plus
Yeah.
another back driveway, so parking's never been an issue there, or should never be an issue there.
And your quiet hours, you have them listed from 8 PM to 8 AM? Mm-hmm. I like that.
I like to sleep.
Yeah, and I'm so do the neighbors. So the guest max is 8?
Yes, yeah, it's 2 per bedroom there. There's not a sleeper sofa or anything like that.
And I know this is your business. I know you'll run a good business out of this as a manager. I'm willing to go to a 3-year term, even as a renewal that's not the greatest.
It will be.
It will be now.
I got a little bit of heartburn on that one.
I know.
It's just because it's just the one thing that constantly preaching to folks is to manage it well, and we want to see ones that come back with no protests. And you said you took over when?
We took over in January, but it was still going through a midterm booking of sorts. There was some sort of not lease signed. There was it just was a bad deal. I can't explain it because it really wasn't my contract or my anything. So I just know it was a bad deal all the way around. I'm pretty sure the neighbors actually vandalized the home. We have some kids on camera kicking down that fence and stuff like that. So it's been kind of and it was set empty because it got vandalized, and then it set empty, and there's that big apartment across the street. And I think it being empty was the detrimental side to it all.
And did the owner give any explanation to some of the Action Center complaints?
When we took over, there was stickers on the windows. So, I mean, we took the stickers down. We have Matthew Tree Services is our landscaper. They take care of it on a weekly basis. It was originally set up for a bi-weekly basis. It's too big of a yard for that. The fence has been down for a long period of time because the grass is completely dead under there. So windows were busted out. There was more than what really even in this complaint. The guy didn't see what was going on inside. It had been flooded. Somebody had come in and clogged up the sinks. Like this homeowner, that guy that owns this, he's put out a really pretty penny to remodel it and then remodel it again. And I think he originally was going to live in it, from my understanding, and that's why there was some, I don't know, back and forth between him and the manager.
So I'm willing to knowing, because the management's always a consideration that we take in. I'm willing to allow the renewal, but I'm going to go back to 1 year. I want to incentivize this gentleman to continue to have a property manager.
I'll prove you guys have never seen me up here with a complaint before.
No, it's not you.
or
I'm
any
making sure
action.
that he doesn't, after this, then let you go.
Well,
Right, so.
You'd be able to tell me better, but I think my contract's pretty good.
Did you put a car maximum?
I didn't. 8 people, 4 cars.
And it could, 4 cars. I can't imagine it would ever even need more. The only people we've housed so far there have been a couple of construction crews, so they're utilizing that truck and trailer space on that round driveway.
4.
All right.
No on street.
Ready?
I believe so. So I'm going to make a motion to approve case number 15930 for the purpose that it meets the statutory requirements for the requested special exceptions with the following modifications: 4-car maximum, no on-street parking during quiet hours, and renewed at a term of 1 year.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, so cast your votes.
What was the number of guests on that one?
8.
I believe that was on the application.
Yeah, I'm just,
Okay.
item number 14, case number 15950 is an application by Libby Ross on behalf of Camelot Accommodations LLC to allow home sharing, 2324 Northwest 118th Street.
Libby Ross at 8500 Benny Bruce Street, Norman, Oklahoma. And I am here to represent Scott at Camelot Accommodations. New property. We haven't even opened it yet. I don't even think there's furniture in it yet, so. I don't know much about it.
No one signed up.
Nobody signed up. Is there anybody that wants to address the board on this application? Okay, now,
It's a 4-bedroom home.
4-bedroom home.
Yeah, it's a brand-new house in an existing
is, yeah.
neighborhood. The number of vehicles, can they use the garage?
They can use the garage.
Okay, so again, with 8-person max, I'd go with 4 cars,
Are you asking for 8 or 7?
or 7 maximum. Yeah,
Okay, so 7 guests per the application and 4
Okay.
cars. Okay.
That might have been per our bed count on there, so that made sense for us.
yeah, sorry. One-year term.
Okay.
We ready?
Ready for a motion?
No one signed up?
No.
Okay. Motion to approve case number 15950 for the purpose that it meets the statutory requirements for the requested special exceptions with the following modifications. 4-car maximum, no on-street parking during quiet hours, term of 1 year, and just confirming that it is for 7 guests. Right. All right.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. It's approved.
Item number 15, case number 15934 is an application by Monica Linville on behalf of Rancho Bueno LLC to allow home sharing located at 10908 North McKinley Avenue.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm here to defend the home sharing. The property address is 10908 North McKinley Avenue.
Can you
And,
state your name and address,
Yeah,
please?
my name is Monica Linville. I'm representing Rancho Bueno LLC. And the case number is 15936. And the property address is 10908 North McKinley Avenue. The house is 1,428 square feet. It has 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, and we are requesting 12 guests, but it has to be you or you, of course. I would like to respectfully support the application for the home sharing permit for our property located in Oklahoma City. The home is spacious and well suited for hosting 3 large bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, 1 living room, 1 dining, 1 laundry room, offering plenty and comfortable accommodation for guests. Each bedroom will set up comfortably that many guests. In the primary bedroom, we have 1 queen bed that sleeps 2 adults, 2 guests, and private full bathrooms. In the second bedroom, we have a queen bed that sleeps 2 guests and 1 bathroom nearby. In the bedroom number 3, we have a bunk bed. This is a full-size mattress on the bottom with a twin-size mattress on the top, and will accommodate 3 persons, and there is a bathroom nearby. In the living room, we have a sofa bed that can sleep 1 more guest, total 8 guests. We were requesting 12, but we changed it to 8. So we are requesting for 8 actually, because this is how many people we can accommodate comfortably in the beds that we have. So the parking space for the property is a 1-car garage, and also we have a very spacious driveway that we can fit up to 2 or 4 vehicles if we need it. So kindly request to granted permit to operate an Airbnb with a maximum occupancy of 8 guests. Initially, we request 12, but after hearing everybody here, so I am understanding that is just 8 guests, I guess. So that's what we are requesting here, and I don't know if somebody opposed. I would like to hear it.
I've got 1 signed up.
Yeah, there was one protester to sign up. We'd
Yes.
like to hear from them first and then
Yes.
go on.
Okay. Michael Ortiz, cheek or check?
No, just go here.
Good afternoon. My name is Mike Ortiz Cheek. I'm at 10909 North Brower Avenue. That's the property directly behind the property that we're talking about here. I would like to share with the board some of the bad experiences that we've had with some of the guests that have been at this, that have stayed at this property over the last year. We purchased our home at the end of April of last year, and a couple months later, we noticed that the house was being renovated. We were excited, hoping to get new neighbors. And soon we realized that we would see different people there each time, and we kind of figured that this might be a short-term rental. However, if we knew everything that we knew today, we would not have purchased our home. If we knew everything that we knew today, we've had to call the Oklahoma City non-emergency line 3 times over the last year for truly unbearable noise levels late at night. There was one time at about 3 a.m. they were playing very loud music. There have been several parties in the backyard that have reached truly excessive noise levels that we've been able to hear inside of our house. There have been people who have been engaging in heavy drinking back there. We've had neighbors who are close friends of ours have also complained to us about loud guests at this property. There was one instance over the last year where my family saw guests performing sexual acts in the backyard. That was really disturbing to me. My wife and I are trying for children, and I do not want to raise children in that environment. There have been guests who have peeked their heads above the fence and called out to me and asked me questions while I was minding my own business in the backyard, not engaging with them. I would say, for the most part, about 90% of the guests that have been at this property have not been an issue. And I don't take issue with the fact that this property would be a short-term rental, but given the kinds of guests that we've seen, about 10% of the time, again, like I said before, if we knew everything that we knew today, we would not have bought this house. We would have found a different house, different place to live. And just kind of the idea that the people who rent this property, that 10%, they clearly know that they do not have to deal with their effect on the neighborhood after they leave. The rest of our neighborhood is very quiet. We don't have any issues with anybody, and that's all I have to say.
Thanks.
That's the only one signed up on this one. Is there anybody else who wants to address the board on this application? Okay. Go ahead and respond.
Yeah, first, I just answered some of the questions that he had.
Some of the issues that he was facing and he was telling us, I was not aware. I just want to understand that that was a concern, of course. And unfortunately, the management that was doing in the house, that was a really bad management. And I just realized that they let that many people get into the house, which it would end in a party or something like that. So restricting the number of guests in just to 8 will allow us just to receive families and no parties. We are ending the relationship with the management company, and one of the reasons is because they did everything wrong. And after I hear him, I just feel so bad, because if there is a family living behind a property, I wouldn't want to live over there either. So I completely understand his concern. And the only thing I can say is that, on my defense, is that we are going to diminish the number of people that they are going to stay on the Airbnb, respect the quiet hours, 8 to 8, so they can allow to function. And we do sincerely apologize for any inconvenience that we may cause before. But this is a new management. Before, that was managed by Talentos Investment, and we are doing all brand new. And then I just apologize and just asking the opportunity to continue if there is an opportunity.
So do you own the property, or are you the next property manager?
And the property management, Rancho Bueno owns the property. The owner is right here with me, and they didn't know anything about it. They were living in Miami before, in Florida, and the company was managing the Airbnb, or this rental, so short-term rental.
Okay, so the original owner had a property management company.
Yes, they have.
Short-term leased this for a year.
Yeah.
Never got a special exception for short-term leasing it.
They didn't even know that was needed. So when I met them,
Not a very good property manager, not a very good owner.
No.
And
when they learned
it was
that
at least 1 year? But this was,
Less than a year, because we started,
Rented
when I
short-term?
met them, I told them, you need to have a permit. There is a few things that you have to follow the rules. They told us that they have a permit, so that was a misunderstanding in the whole situation. So I just apologize for the misunderstanding caused and any disruption or discomfort that they can cause to any of the neighbors. So it's just up to you. I'm not opposing at what he said because I understand it's a family. If he will know that all that happened, he wouldn't buy the house. And I'm on his shoes too. You know, I live in a neighborhood, so it's completely up to you. But the only say that I can say on my defense is we are going to diminish the number of people that they are going to stay on the Airbnb, and we are trying to do everything to be in fully compliance with the law and ask for the permit and the license and everything that we're supposed to do to operate in a good condition, so with the good standards. That's all I'm asking.
I think Mr. Ortiz has one more thing, maybe.
No, go ahead.
Is this, okay. We have noticed that over the last month, there's been a larger increase of the number of parties that have happened there. And I understand, with the weather being nice, it's usually about once a weekend now that there's a loud party. I know that you said that management has changed recently. I would like to understand more of, what our recourse is if loud parties do continue to happen, if we continue to get woken up in the middle of the night from loud music playing. I don't really understand what kind of recourse we would have other than continuing to call the non-emergency line, which we have been doing in the past, and it has continued.
Can you tell me just
Sure.
an estimate of three calls to the Action Center
Over the last year, yeah.
over the last year, and there's no reported, we don't have any reported Action Center calls in our packet today. Just
Okay.
an FYI to you.
Okay.
And they do look that up, staff
Okay.
does, so they know. If anything was to happen anymore, just continue that. but
Sure. I don't know why those wouldn't have been recorded.
I just wanted you to know that we hadn't
Yeah.
seen that.
There was one, the most recent one that I made was a couple weeks ago. There was, I would say, probably about 30 or 40 people in the backyard, and they were like yelling and screaming, and I think at one point they were like, "No one's gonna call the cops on us tonight." And the volume got so loud that eventually I had to call someone.
Okay, thanks.
Probably the last time that we had an application that was where the home was being operated as a short-term rental for a
Without-
significant amount of time without a special exceptions, we rejected that application. I'm going to propose that, but in that time, we gave them a certain time frame that they could come back.
And for me,
And I
it was
forget.
as long as they were operating. And so what I would suggest on this for me, you can come back in a year from now and ask for a short-term lease, but today I'd be a no on this application.
I do understand. This is a completely new management. We were not aware of what they were doing in the past, and I do understand your concern. I'm living in a neighborhood too, so I will have the same concern that he does. But I would like to have the opportunity to come back next year and just to end with that bad management that we had and just come back and do something different.
So don't short-term lease this for a year.
Okay, that sounds perfect. I do understand, and thank you so much for understanding. And I'm so sorry that happened to you. We didn't mean to it. I just want to say that the owner just recently moved here, and he was taking care of everything because they didn't know what was going on. I just want to say that. So in their defense, thank you.
Thanks. You can, okay. Motion to deny.
Motion to deny case number 15934.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to deny. Cast your vote. I vote yes on the denial. I didn't get a voting screen. There we go. All right.
Item number 16, case number 15940 is an application for a special exception by Sontran of Easy Rentals LLC to allow home sharing located at 1231 Northwest 31st Street.
Hello again, Nick Tran at 1231 Northwest 31st Street.
Tell us about the application, if you can, on this one.
Yeah, so this is the same as last year, 3-bedroom home. It's butted up against North Classen Avenue and 31st. Neighbors on the side like us, several houses down. The other side is all commercial spaces, so no problems.
Yeah. This is the one right across the street from the coffee shop.
Yeah,
How many bathrooms?
3
3 bathrooms?
bathrooms.
Okay.
I think, and just remembering back, and just on the application is the quiet hours,
9 to 9, or 9 to 8.
9 to 8, and then the number of vehicles, 4.
4,
With
yeah.
no on-street parking, because you can't on-street park right
Correct.
there.
Red Cup already takes all the parking, so.
There's 4 spots. And this one doesn't have any protests or code
Oh, yeah,
violations?
we do.
Oh, on this one? Okay, sorry. No written protests were given.
I didn't see any in the packet, and I'm just going to call these in the order I've got them.
Okay.
Brian Ted Jones. Welcome, go ahead.
Good afternoon, and thank you for your time today. My name is Brian Ted Jones, and I have lived at 1544 Northwest 40th Street here in Oklahoma City for 14 years. This is my wife, Jennifer Boyle, and we have both signed up to speak today on agenda items 16 through 24. However, in consideration for everyone's time, we will only be speaking on this first item, and then we'll simply re-urge our remarks on the subsequent items. Each of these items is a request for a home sharing special exception by Son Tran. We're here to speak on these matters because fundamentally, these hearings are about whether this board can trust Son to obey the law and abide by the rules for home share licensees. We are here to tell you that you can't. This board cannot trust Son Tran to obey the law, and I will tell you why, and when you hear what I have to say, I hope you will deny all of his requests. To go back, most of this board may remember that Mr. Tran and his husband Nicholas Tran appeared last year on June 20th requesting a special exception renewal for home sharing for a house at 1540 Northwest 40th Street, the house directly east of our home. You may also remember that my wife and I...
One at a time.
You may also remember that my wife and I filed a protest to that request on several grounds, that Son and Nicholas had converted 1540 into a multiple family residence, that they had put 2 hot tubs in the backyard, that they were advertising 1540 for more guests than their special exception allowed. We couldn't be present there, so we had a lawyer present for us. Our protest prompted a lot of questions from this board back on June 20th. Questions Son and Nicholas simply could not answer. Instead, they attacked us personally. They made horrible, baseless claims about us. They called us racist. It was awful. And we were very grateful that day when the board took our protest seriously, asking these men tough questions about how they were using 1540, even asking them to agree to a short continuance to a later meeting so 1540 could be inspected and the board could get clarity on exactly how they'd modified it. And these men refused. They refused to continue the matter and insisted the board rule right then without the inspections. And we were very grateful when a majority of the board then denied the special exception for 1540. We thought that was the end.
Can we stop this one? Just, and I get it, but it's this application at this location, and I promise I remember every bit of this.
Yeah.
So if we could.
Promise it's relevant.
But just try to keep it to this application.
You got it. Well,
I know.
we thought that was the end of it. That should have been the end of it, but it wasn't. I'm holding up a document I received through an open records request to the city. I brought copies. I'm happy to share them with the board, but it's also in the city's records for the board to review. This document is 1 page from the home share licensing materials for home share license number HS-00978. That's a home share license issued by the city to Nicholas Tran on August 2nd, 2024 for 1540 Northwest 40th Street. The document I'm holding up is the primary residence affidavit Nicholas filed with the city in his application for that license. This affidavit is dated June 21st, 2024, the day after the June 20th hearing. And this affidavit reads, I, Nick Tran of 1540 Northwest 40th Street, OKC 73118, hereby certify that the following property, 1540 Northwest 40th Street, OKC 73118, is currently occupied by me and has been continuously occupied by me fact, continuously occupied as my primary place of residence since June 1st, 2024. The undersigned, being duly sworn on oath, states under penalty of perjury that the foregoing information is a true and correct statement of the facts pertaining to the use of the above described property. Signed, Nick Tran. Now, as if that wasn't bad enough, that Nicholas swore under oath the day after the board's denial that he had lived at 1540 since June 1st, as if all that wasn't bad enough, there's something else. It's the notary stamp on this affidavit, because Son Tran is the notary. Not only did Nicholas swear under oath that he lived in this house where he's never lived, neither before June 20th or after, a house he was trying to get a special exception for only the day before because he didn't live there. Not only did Nicholas do all that, but Son notarized it. Son, as a sworn notary public under the laws of the state of Oklahoma, notarized a document that not only affected him financially, that not only gave him a financial benefit, but he notarized a document he knew was false. Members of the board, you simply cannot trust these men because they have proven to you you cannot trust them. They demanded you give them a ruling on June 20th last year instead of allowing for basic oversight. When you gave them your ruling, they ignored you and filed a falsely sworn and fraudulently notarized primary residence affidavit to get around you. They have proven to you that nothing they do will be in harmony with the policies of the comprehensive plan or the general purpose and intent of any zoning district regulation in this city, because harmony assumes basic compliance with the law, and you're just not going to get that from these men. So we wanted to be here today to tell our story and to support the other protesters who are here today, because after reviewing the protests they filed, it is clear Son and Nicholas didn't learn anything from last year's protests. You simply cannot trust these men. They have proven you cannot trust them, and you should deny all of their applications because you cannot trust them. And if possible, I would now like to turn it over to Jennifer.
Well, Jennifer, you're next. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Please bear with me. I'll try to keep it brief. My name is Jennifer Boyle, and I've lived at 1544 Northwest 40th Street in Oklahoma City for the past 14 years. Thank you so much for hearing us out last year, and thank you for hearing us today. I wanted to quickly share with you some of the things that happened after you denied these men their special exception last year, which would be on the docket today if they hadn't done that. Okay, because what they did after amounts to retaliation, plain and simple. We protested their special exception request based on nuisance, occupancy, and code violations, and this board listened to us, and they denied the special exception. But these guys kept operating completely, they kept operating without disruption, and then they retaliated against us by installing a street light facing our home. They installed a telephone pole light, a telephone pole with a light on top, facing our house at the closest possible edge to our property. You probably haven't seen that before. We'd never seen it before. I bet nobody else in this room has seen that before. There's no other street light on our street that faces away from the street. No other street light faces towards any other houses. In fact, one of the city officials we spoke to said he'd never seen anybody install a street light facing a house in his entire career. The light is extraordinarily bright. We've had to change our curtains. It ruins our view of the night sky, and it serves zero purpose except spite. Actually, that's what we've tried to start calling it in an attempt to inject some levity into the insanity that these guys are inflicting upon us. We call it the spite light. But that's what we got for filing our protest. That's what we got for trying to hold these men accountable. That's what happened to us because this board listened to us and held them accountable. But these men punished us for it. They punished citizens, residents, the people who actually live there, because we protested their business because their business was breaking the law. But they didn't stop with the spite light. They've also installed a camera facing our driveway that I assume they can watch remotely from wherever they actually live, but it's not next to us. We've even caught them driving by our house one day last year, filming us with their smartphone. We still have a minor child living in the house with us still also, and this is just weird, creepy, and invasive. This is our home. These men could have simply obeyed the law in the first place. They chose not to. They could have simply complied when the board denied their special exception. They chose not to. Instead, they filed a false affidavit to get a home share license without a special exception by lying and saying that Nicholas lives there. You know what that meant? It meant we didn't get a chance to protest. They didn't like that we protested their special exception. They didn't like that this board listened and denied the special exception. So what did they do? They lied to get around both of us. They lied so we wouldn't have a chance to protest, and they lied so you wouldn't have a chance to hold them accountable. And that still wasn't enough. They've retaliated against us. They put up that stupid spite light, and they're surveilling me and my family in our driveway every single day. You cannot trust these men. They have proven that unless they are completely and totally shut down, they will continue to lie and deceive and operate without regard for the people who actually have to live next to the party houses that they are running all over this city. Please, please deny their applications. Thank you.
Those are the only two that signed up. Is there anybody else that wants to address the board on this application? Okay, we'll go ahead and respond, please.
Well, so that was a really good story, but these neighbors as well have been harassing us, harassing our workers. We took on video. We had police escorts come to the house because they were harassing and threatening our workers, standing on top of our workers while they're trying to work. So we installed a privacy fence going along our properties. We had someone break into our side of the yard, so we installed a spotlight, yes, on our property, on our side of the property, pointing towards our house. But all of this is still irrelevant to the cases that we're talking about today, which is 1231 Northwest 31st Street. How many? That's like 1.5 miles away. So I would like to get back to the case at hand.
I disagree. I do think that it is pertinent because management, whether it's this one or all the properties, it's something that I've got to keep in mind as whether I'm approving and denying. So for you to say that it's not pertinent, I think it is.
Okay.
Now, whether we approve or deny this one, that's a whole different matter. But I mean, I think it goes towards it.
Okay, well then we can speak on this matter itself then. So I have that home as my primary property. I live there majority of the year, but I'm not at the home majority of the year because I'm usually traveling. So I don't stay at the house all the time, which is why I talked to you guys before about that I don't necessarily have to live at the house every single day of the year for it to be my primary residence because I'm not necessarily in the state all the time. And like I said, I installed the spotlight on my property, pointed towards my property for my own security. I told OG&E that as well. Someone broke into my fence. I built a really nice brand new fence in the property. Someone caved it in and broke the metal, so I had to reinstall the fence and put a spotlight there. I also put, if they notice on the camera, I put a camera pointed on my side of the yard, so I only see my portion of the yard. I installed privacy fences the whole length of the property all the way around, so don't know what else I can do to, well, I shouldn't have to please them, but don't know what else I can do for them.
Just briefly, he has never stayed a single night there that I have seen, and I've lived there 14 years. Not a single night, not a single night. It's only Airbnb residents. He does not live there.
Do you have a camera watching me all the time?
Wait a minute. Address the board. Please. Okay. Do either of you have anything else? I think we've heard it. Ready for a motion?
Well, I just have a question. I don't.
Go ahead.
And my peers may feel different than I do. I don't know that we can do anything or that we have the purview to do anything about where they install a light or a camera, provided that it meets city code. To the extent that it's retaliatory, we can only guess. So, and by that, I've got to give them the benefit of the doubt that they are just truly trying to secure their own property. That being said, like Mr. Seda, I do think that it is relevant to this. Do you guys have, Nick, do you have the, what your occupancy rate has been for the property in question? The
I
one
can pull
that
that.
you signed as your?
I don't have it currently, but I can pull that up.
I would like to know that. I mean, I don't live there. I don't drive past the property, so I would have no way of gauging whether or not you live at the property. But I also do think it's pertinent in the sense that we do kind of take applicants' word for things. If you guys provide something to us, we believe it until there's some reason not to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would like to see that in order just to have some additional information in terms of whether or not that information is accurate.
Knowing that I will have to step out after this, right? This case here, I mean, I would like to see written documentation, right? So I would almost say, like, we can continue the matters, the 6 matters, to the next meeting and then take it up there.
I'm fine with that.
And that's the issue of the property management.
It's not whether it's this specific property, but
the management of this property.
It's the management. And we always, I think that's what we always tell people is we're looking, is the property being managed?
But shouldn't it be based on the statutory requirements on each property, on each individual case?
And it is, and it's also on a history of that management company. And, you know, the opportunity for you guys to have another property management company on this property or any other property that you might have. I mean, we have to take everything into consideration when we consider these, the neighbors, every neighbor. And so, yes, I'm looking at 1231, and there are no written protests, and I understand that, but the property manager is basically has a blanket protest over it right now.
But how many properties? I have, what, like 6, 7 properties here today and only 9 properties? Okay, I guess there's another protest there. But of those, there's only 2
right.
protests.
And again, we'll look at every single one. And if you want us to look at this today and, you know, without any other additional documentation, we can do it. I mean, it's our job. We'll do it.
But from the word, it's going to be pretty much denied on all of them on the basis of another property a mile and a half away.
No, and again, I can only speak for myself, but I think when we're talking about the management of it, and the protesters stated that he intends to protest each one of these applications. And so we don't put a limit on the proximity that a protester has to live before they can speak on a case. So presumably, he's going to have the same arguments about the management on each one of these properties. So and right now, you know, the claim that they've levied, it at least warrants some additional investigation. So I do think that it's prudent to say, well, let's not just deny these based off of the claim that he's made today, but let's provide opportunity for both sides to provide as much documentation as they can so we can make an informed decision.
Okay, then can we go for continuance then?
I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah, I'm thinking that we take your matters that you've got and just move them out 2 weeks.
Oh, 4, I don't think we meet again this month.
We only have one meeting this
Okay,
month, so
till
it'll
the
be July
next one.
17th.
Okay.
What's that meeting date?
July 17th.
17.
All right. Then I will make a motion to continue case number 15940, 15941, 15942.
Oh, I think we got to do them one at a time. The painful process.
Yes.
One at a time.
Are you serious?
Would I lie to you?
I'm just,
No.
all right. Motion to continue case number 15940 to the July 17, 2025 meeting.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to continue. Cast your votes.
Do you need a voice vote?
I vote yes. All right, this one is continued.
Item number 17, case number 15941, special exception by Sontran of EZ Rentals to allow home sharing at 1512 Northeast 12th Street.
All right,
And
motion.
we've got Brian, and can I assume your remarks would be the same?
You may.
Okay.
All right. Motion to continue case number 15941 to the July 17, 2025 meeting.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Cast your votes. Old people have trouble with technology.
Item number 18, case number 15942 is an application by Sontran of Cash Flow Holdings LLC to allow home sharing, 1704 Northeast 56th Street.
And your remarks are the same?
Same remarks, thank you.
All right, motion to continue case number 15942 to July 17, 2025 meeting.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Cast your votes.
Item number 19, case number 15943 is an application by Sontran of BE Rentals LLC to allow home sharing, 1824 Northeast 52nd Street.
Same thing?
Same remarks.
All right.
All right, motion to continue on case number 15943 to the July 17, 2025 meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second to continue. Cast your votes.
Item number 20, case number 15945 is an application by Sontran of BE Rentals to allow home sharing at 4520 Northwest 30th Street.
We'll just duplicate your remarks again.
Yes, I'm sorry, thank you.
Okay.
Motion to continue case number 15945 to the July 17, 2025 meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second. Cast your votes. All right, continued.
Item number 21, case number 15946 is an application by Sontran of Cash Flow Holdings LLC to allow home sharing, 4147 Northwest 43rd Street.
Same remarks by myself and Ms. Boyle.
Okay, hang on just a second.
Where are we at? 6?
All right.
We are on item 21.
21. I'm assuming you're Brian Edwards?
Yes, sir. My name is Brian.
You're up.
I'll just let you know right up front, I'm not going to hear most of what you guys say. So I'm just letting you know that right now.
And Mr. Chairman, I will have to step out
Okay.
at this point.
Hang on just a second.
Sure.
And just to give everybody a heads up, after Roberto leaves, we still have a quorum. We can continue, but you're going to have to get 3 of 3 votes. Sometimes people ask for a continuance, or the 3 of us can vote.
So are we in 21?
21.
946? Okay.
Yeah. And let's see. Just a minute, where'd I put it? Yeah, Brian's the only one who signed up on this. Did you sign up on this one too?
I did. I have a statement to make.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Brian, you're up.
Go ahead.
My name is Brian Edwards. I live at 4205 Northwest 43rd Street. I live 3 doors down from 4147 Northwest 43rd Street. At this address, I have witnessed parties of fights in the street. Cars come and go at all parts of the day and the night. It's just chaos. We have a relatively quiet street. I will say this, they did some upgrades on the house, and I applaud them for that because the house needed some upgrades. But occasionally there will be up to 6, 7 cars, and 2 will fit in the driveway, so you know where all the rest of them go. They're going all the way up and down the street. There's a stop sign, 1 address from this house. They park all the way, you can't even see I mean, it's nuts. So I don't have as many things to say as this fella did, but, and I'm relatively new to the neighborhood, I will say that. It wasn't like this a year ago. It was not like this. They did whatever they did with the property, and the chaos has ensued. So.
Leslie. Okay, Leslie Anderson signed
Thank
up.
you.
Hi.
Hi.
I am Leslie Anderson, 4209 Northwest 43rd Street.
Okay.
Obviously, as I've seen this, 9 different properties under 3 different LLCs, and who is going to be like the on-site management? Because the grass was, you know, shin high until yesterday. They had someone mow it yesterday. Again, the parties, because me and Brian live side by side, so they have like workers, you know, I mean, I'm not saying you can't rent to workers, but with their big equipment and their large trailers behind their vehicles, and it's in the road, I mean, within 15 feet of the stop sign. So you can't see the stop sign for anybody to stop. I have grandchildren that play in the neighborhood. We like to walk up and down the streets and the sidewalks. People can't see the stop sign, they run the stop sign because we have just too many cars there. Then they pull it onto the grass, okay? I can't even park my car on my own grass with city ordinance. So it's not fair. Then, like I said, I wanted to know if who was going to be the management of the property. Then it's only supposed to be short-term rental, less than 30 days, and I didn't take pictures, but I should have. There was a vehicle, black Lexus with Texas tags, that was there for the whole month of February and March. So the same person was there for almost 2 months. The late night parties, small driveway, people bring animals in the backyard and they're just barking all night long. I mean, just all night long. And I can hear it 3 houses away. And I have to sleep with a fan on, so I can hear it above the fan. I've lived here for over 20 years, never had this kind of problem in the neighborhood. And I think that's pretty much it that I've got all down there.
Okay.
I thank you for your time.
Yep.
Thank you.
These are the only 2 that signed up. Is anybody else wanting to speak to the board on this application?
And Nick,
Okay,
come up, yep.
Come on back
I would
up.
just like to say, if you recall from last year, there is an unlicensed, it was an Airbnb, it was a halfway house, they turned it into many things right next door. So they always park their big trucks along the side. We don't take up that corner lot there. And I've addressed that to the city. I've reported they've thrown needles into my yard. I've had to clean up needles. I myself had to clean up needles from my yard. They throw cigarette butts. They do have noise next door, but I just clean it up and I deal with it. I don't know what the grass issue is. We have a team come out every 10 days and cut all the grass, so it's impossible for it to be long. Yeah, that's all I can say on that matter.
Okay. And we're going to incorporate your vote.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Nick, stay up. So there was some code violations for the trash cans not being put up also.
Just the people across the street report the moment, like the day of. If it's not pulled in, they report. And then if you notice on the code violation, it comes out and says nuisance or no violation found, because we come back that night and pick them up. So it's like, if they're out for a couple hours and then we get reported, the report goes into the log, but we already pick them up before they even come out.
And reading the application and what was granted last time, there's a maximum of 4 cars and no on-street parking.
Correct, yes. And like I said, there's sometimes maybe a guest will park on the street, but we are pretty quick on that, and we try to tell them, hey, you need to move your car, you need to carpool, go park at a Walmart nearby and carpool in. We tell them that. You're not allowed to park on the grass, you're not allowed to park in the street. We are pretty firm on that.
Yep, and I understand, and it's hard to make the applicants follow the rules, and it seems as if they haven't followed the rules sometimes in this property. I'm gonna give you the option to take continuance on this with just the three of us here to vote, because today I'm a no on this property, and so.
Okay, no, let's do continuance.
Probably best.
Probably for all of them, I would assume, right, at this point?
Yeah, I mean, we'll just go
Because
through
he's
it.
gonna ditto his report
And I
on
agree, but,
everything.
and I'm taking his into consideration, but I want to hear from all the neighbors who did come here today. And so if there's any other protests on one, we'll just do each case,
Okay.
unless you want to deny this today.
Let's continue it since there's three of us, and I don't remember if I asked, but your remarks again repeated both, okay.
Same remarks, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, it's
Ready?
me. Roberto's going. I'd like to make a motion to continue case number 15946 to the July 17th meeting.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to continue. Cast your votes. All right, it will continue.
Item number 22, case number 15947, application by Sontran of Easy Rentals LLC to allow home sharing, 3841 Northwest 13th Street.
And Brian and Jennifer are the only ones signed up.
Same remarks.
Same remarks. Nobody else signed up on this one. Does anybody want to address the board on this application? Okay.
There are a couple. Yeah. So, I mean, just like everyone, just state your name.
Yeah, Nick Tran at 3841 Northwest 13th Street. I did see the one protest, but if you see, it's the copy-paste, the same one from last year. The guy wants us to sell to his friend, and we don't want to sell. So it's the same. He just copy-pasted the letter again.
Continue.
And you did contact him, you've talked to him, or not? You want a continuance on this?
Because it's going to be denied if I bring it to vote.
Okay. I think we're ready for a motion then.
I'd like to make a motion to continue case number 15947 to July 17th.
Second?
Motion and a second to continue. Cast your votes. Okay, to the 17th.
Item number 23, case number 15948 is an application by Sontran of BE Reynolds LLC to allow home sharing at 3324 Northwest 23rd Street.
Brian and Jennifer, same thing, please.
Same remarks, thank you.
Okay. Nobody else signed up to speak on this one. Is there anyone who wants to address the board on this application? Okay.
Nick Tran, 3324 Northwest 23rd Street.
Requesting a
Requesting a
continuance?
special, yeah, requesting continuance.
Good.
I think we're ready for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to continue case number 15948 to July 17th.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second to continue. Cast your votes. Continued.
Item number 24, case number 15949 is an application by Sontran of BE Reynolds LLC to allow home sharing, 2919 Northwest 32nd Street.
And Brian Jennifer, same again.
Same remarks, thank you.
Nobody else signed up to speak. Is there anyone who wants to address the board on this application?
Nick Tran, 2919 Northwest 32nd Street, request continuance.
Okay.
That'll make a motion to continue case number 15949 to the July 17th meeting.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to continue. Cast your votes. Okay, we'll see you back on 17th.
Thank you. Thank you.
Item number 25 was continued to July 17th. Item number 26, case number 15938, is an application by David and Teresa Thedvin on behalf of My Healing Home LLC to allow home sharing, 3004 Northwest 43rd Street.
Good afternoon. My name is David Svedman, and I'm applying for 3004 Northwest 43rd, application in the name of My Healing Home. This is a home that we bought 12 years ago. We actually lived in it for a few years, and we've kept it a long-term rental for several years, and averagely had our tenants that lived there 3 to 5 years at a time. So this home is important to us because it's something that'll probably stay in the family. We take good care of the property. Never had any problems with the neighbors. And one of the reasons why that we call it My Healing Home is my wife's got severe Lyme disease, and I'm on the tail run of rounding home plate because I've had stage 4 prostate cancer, but I'm almost in remission. So chemical-free, all those other type of things. And the other issue being a mile south of Baptist, we look to see for that home to be a place where people that may come from either far away in Oklahoma City or from the Panhandle that have family up there at Baptist, transplant or things like that. That's our main focus. So everything we do with that home is, we keep it especially clean, no chemicals or any of that type of thing. So, that's why switching from long-term to short-term, although we would obviously prefer mid-term, because obviously some people, if they've got someone that's had a transplant, may stay there longer. So, that's our motivation to apply for short-term license. And one of the things that we want to do is have a turnover times of like 3 to 4 days. We don't want people in and out of there all the time because we want to respect our neighbors, and that's our motivation.
Okay, anything from the board?
No one
Nobody
signed
signed up on yours.
We've got good neighbors.
Is there anybody who wants to address the board on this one? We're ready for a motion.
Yep, let me just go through the application a little bit.
Sure.
And the maximum number of guests is 4.
Right.
I'd like to put quiet hours into the application from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m. A maximum number of vehicles to be 3, and no on-street parking during the quiet hours.
Correct, yes.
And then for a term of 1 year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good with all those?
Got a second?
I'll make a motion. Motion to
Oh,
approve.
sorry, I thought that was a motion.
Motion to approve case number 15938 on the basis that it meets the statutory requirement for a special exception with the following modifications. Maximum number of guests to be 4, quiet hours from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., maximum number of vehicles to be 3 with no on-street parking during quiet hours for a term of 1 year.
Second.
Okay, now we have a motion and a second. Cast your votes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
You're approved.
Item number 27, case number 15957, is an application for special exception by Amy Liu of Premier Homes LLC on behalf of Cynthia Wilson to allow home sharing, 8213 Curtis Terrace.
Come up to the microphone. We'll call this citizens to be heard temporarily. Are you on this case?
Apologies, no, I'm not. I'm unfamiliar with the processes.
We have to hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, he has a protest he wants.
Sorry about this. Hi, good
turn
afternoon.
in.
I was just asking about item number 25, if it was...
It was continued.
It was continued, so you won't
Yeah.
be hearing any...
Yes.
Okay.
It was continued at the beginning of the meeting, sorry if you didn't hear that.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. All right, thank you very much.
No
Apologies
problem.
for the disruption.
So, wait, did you have something to say on item 25?
Oh, yes.
Can we
I did.
hear what he has to say even though
Yeah,
it was
go ahead.
continued?
I'm calling it citizens to be heard, and I'm
Okay.
taking it out.
That way you don't have to come back.
Oh, thank you. I'm so sorry. May I be heard now?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, so sorry. Thank you very much, and thank you for your time. So I'm here on behalf of myself, my family, and my neighbors in opposition of the request for the special exception. I live at 1436 Northwest 34th Street. I live across from 1439 that is speaking the special exception. I have a letter here that has my signature, signatures of our neighbors that are in opposition of this special request, special exception request. This home has been operating as an Airbnb for at least since December of last year. We have been filing multiple complaints to the homeowners, to the Airbnb, to the Oklahoma City Action Center. I was told that I could not file another Action Center because there is an open court hearing in July on this home because of a violation of short-term rental agreement. So I was unaware of that until I reached out to the Action Center to learn more. I was unaware that the homeowner needed a permit to do that, to have an Airbnb, but until we got your notice, and I spoke to our neighbors about it, everyone I've spoke to on our block is against this Airbnb. Our block is already facing challenges. We have 3 blighted homes on our block, 1 empty lot from a 4th blighted home that was torn down. But 6 of our homes, including mine, has been purchased by new owners within the last 6 years. We moved in 2020. In fact, we looked at this property before we bought the property across the street in 2020. It's a beautiful single-family residence home. Today, as an Airbnb, and since then, we've reached out for them to help rein that in. Again, not knowing that it was running illegally as an Airbnb without, or to our understanding, as we understand what it is. This property has a upstairs deck, outdoor deck on the front facing of the property. This Airbnb is currently still in use. It's booked every weekend. There are parties out on that deck. It advertises itself as operating for 16 guests, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. They've got a large main room. They have a secondary room with 2 main beds. They have multiple bunk beds in their home. We've seen bachelor parties, even in the comments on Airbnb of the types of parties that are being held by guests, leaving comments. We can hear this at night because of that deck. All that noise from a second story is going directly to our neighbors, or directly to us. We can hear it in our bedroom in the evening when we're trying to rest or just relax in our living room. For those neighbors who have been recent homeowners, we are doing our best to lift up that block as part of Military Park, and the other half of which is in Putnam Heights. We're looking forward to the improvements coming to the Class and TIF. I'm a former president of the Cleveland Neighborhood Association for multiple years. It's a treasure to be part of the Military Park neighborhood today over the last 5 years. So this is my first time before you. Also, apologies for not hearing again the continuance at the earlier. But we would, on behalf of myself, my family, my neighbors, I would ask that you consider denying that request going forward. As they continue to operate illegally, multiple vehicles. I have photos of 4 to 6 vehicles in the driveway. They have a large driveway. There's street parking. They leave the trash bins out on the street past allotted days. They've had yard parking incidents. All of these incidents, I've reached out to the homeowners. They've told me that they would reach out to the property management company. So they don't live there, they don't intend to live there. Property management company is managing the property. And so for those reasons, we'd like to ask for your support in denying their request.
Is that all in that letter?
Yes, it is.
So, yeah, you can give that letter to the staff. And also, this is going to get continued to July 17th, so there's quite a bit of time between now and then.
Yes.
The more information that you can give us and that they can put into the packet so that we have that information, because right now there's not even one protest in this packet written. You were the only one, and we would have not known anything if you weren't here. And so, were you noticed on this? Do you know?
I did get the notice. That's how we came
So
to
you
know.
have the information and where to send your information in for the protest. Please,
Yes, and we
please
did file
do
for an
that.
open records request with help from one of my neighbors, but we didn't do that in time to get the information, so we will do more of our homework and better prepare for the
So
next
yeah,
time.
you got a couple weeks, so.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
It's continued July 17th.
Right.
So get it in the next 2 weeks and we will get that information.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are we back to 27?
Yes.
Okay.
Amy,
Thank you.
did you read that case in?
I did.
Cindy? Okay. So start with your name and address.
Okay, my name is Amy Lou with iPremier Homes, and this particular home is our second year, so this is a renewal. It has, it's a 3-2, six-person occupancy. The driveway, basically 2 cars. We can also put 2 cars in the double car garage as well too. Last year, the quiet hour was 10 p.m. to 8 a.m., and after hearing everybody, quiet hour has changed to 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., so we're going to go ahead and make that correction. So this is our second, we want a renewal for whatever, 2-3 years.
Anyone sign up to speak on this?
Now, not on this one. Does anybody want to address the board on this application? Okay, go ahead.
So just a few things on the application, and there was one code violation, but it was for, you had a plumber in there working without a license or filing for a permit, I believe.
That was filed yesterday, actually, so they're.
You took care of that?
Yeah, they're taking care of that.
And on the application, and it says maximum number of guests accommodate 6, and then down below it says 8, but I'm gonna go with 6.
Right, we're going to do 6, because since it was a renewal, they just took the same information from last time, so we didn't make that change. But we took all the recommendations from our last review, and so 6 is, for all the 3-2s, we're doing 6 per the recommendation of 2 per bedroom.
So I guess that maybe the application lapsed, or the special exception must have lapsed, the original one, because we have to consider this as a new application.
Oh. Bummer.
So,
Yeah, kind of still new at this deal, so.
yeah, which, and I don't know when it'll lapse, but you need to start the application process probably 3 months prior, just to get it in and
Gotcha.
for each new application.
That's noted. We'll do that.
Anything else?
No,
No?
I think we're ready for a motion.
So I'll make a motion to approve case number 15957 on the basis that it meets the statutory requirement for a special exception with the modifications to the application. Just the maximum number of guests to be 6, quiet hours from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., a maximum number of vehicles to be 4, 2 in the garage, 2 in the parking lot, no on-street parking, and for a term of 1 year.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. You're approved.
Item number 28, case number 15958 is an application by Amy Liu of I Premier Homes LLC to allow home sharing 8620 Northwest 91st Street.
Yes, so this is the same situation as the
Amy,
first one.
start with your name.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
address.
My name is Amy with I Premier Homes. This is a request for special exception for home sharing. It's a three-bedroom, two-bath. Last year, we thought that this was going to be a renewal, so the occupancy is six occupancy, 2 to 4 parking in the garage. We will modify the quiet time to 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., no parking in the streets. And since it lapsed, I guess we'll have to go for 1 year again.
Actually, this one can be considered for a renewal because it's timely by just a few days, right? So you got it in prior to it. It's
No, I know, so yes.
it expiring, but not here, but you got the application in time. So
Oh, good.
we'll all consider a renewal.
And nobody signed up on this one. Does anybody want to address the board? Okay.
So just a few things on the application again, and so that it is a renewal, I'll give it a 3-year. If everyone's in
okay.
agreement.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So I will make a motion. Make a motion to approve case number 15958 on the basis that it meets the statutory requirement for a special exception with modifications of maximum number of guests to be 6, quiet hours from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., a maximum number of vehicles to be 4, no on-street parking for a term of 3 years.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. You're approved.
Item number 29, case number 15959 is an application by Amy Liu of I Premier Homes to allow home sharing located at 525 Northwest 138th Street.
My name is Amy Liu with I Premier Homes. This is a new application. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, a double-car garage. The parking garage, or the parking driveway is in an alley, so there will be no parking in the street. It will follow the same house rules as the previous houses. Quiet time of 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., 6 maximum occupancy, 3 2-bedroom.
Anyone sign up to speak on this one?
Nobody's on this one. Does anybody want to address the board on this application?
So just go over the application and just make sure, but maximum number of guests would be 6.
Yes,
Quiet hours from 9 to 8,
correct.
and 2 in the garage and 2 on the parking
Right,
surface.
maximum. Yeah, no on-street
And
parking.
no on-street parking, and the term would just be 1 year,
Okay.
because it's a new application. I'll make a motion to approve case number 15959 on the basis that it meets the statutory requirement for a special exception with the following adjustments to the application. A maximum number of guests to be 6, quiet hours from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., maximum number of vehicles to be 4, 2 in the garage, 2 in the drive, no on-street parking for a term of 1 year.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Cast your votes.
Thank you.
You're approved.
Item number 30 is case number 15932 is an application by George J. Kanopoulos Jr. to allow home sharing at 1042 Hanger Drive.
Hello, Libby Ross, 8500 Benny Bruce Street. I am here to represent George. I'm glad you said the last name. I didn't want to say it.
I didn't know if I said it correctly.
This is a 3-bed, 3-bath, 2-car garage. George actually put this permit together and not us, so I'm maybe flying a little blind right now.
Anyone sign up to speak?
Nobody signed up on this one. Does anyone want to address the board on this application? Okay, no?
So just in the application, it's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, so maximum number would be 6. I'd like to adjust the quiet hours just from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m. In the application, it's 10 to 6. And then on the number of vehicles, this is in the Wheeler District, right? And
It's
so
in the
they
Wheeler.
allow on-street parking.
They do, and then but we have the two-car garage,
Yeah,
and
so
I can't imagine it's gonna be more than a two-car group.
I'm gonna just say maximum number of 2 cars and then leave out the street parking part.
Yeah, it's not really, there's really nowhere to park at that house on the street.
Yep. And then for a term of 1 year, since it's new.
Yes, please.
Okay, I think we're ready for a motion. That sounds good.
Let's make a motion to approve case number 15932 on the basis that it meets the statutory requirement for a special exception with the following modifications. The maximum number of guests to be 6, quiet hours from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., maximum number of vehicles to be 2, and for a term of 1 year.
Second?
Motion and a second. Cast your votes. You're approved.
Appreciate you. Be weather aware, guys.
Yeah.
Those phones going off back here.
Item number 31, case number 15944 is an application by Bobby D. Sparks on behalf of David Moreira and Mejo Conde to allow home sharing, 3232 Southwest 41st Street.
I'm David Mejia, and I live on 4600 South Avenue, and I own the house on 3232 Southwest 41st.
And I'm Bobby Deanne Sparks. I live at 5008 South Post Road, Oklahoma City. And we are here asking for a special exception for a short-term rental for the home at 3232 Southwest 41st. 3 bedrooms, full bath and a half. We have parking for 3 cars if you park correctly. I did have a special exception in 2003. We got our license in 2003, and in 2004, I noticed our license had expired. In 2004, I did not get anything renewed, and then in 2005, I said, okay, it's time to get back because this is kind of fun, and so here I am. And I brought David with me so he could see what all we go through when we try to get a special exception.
Nobody signed up on this one. Is there anybody who wants to address the board on this application? Okay.
Okay, just to go through the application a little bit. It's a 3-bedroom home.
3-bedroom home. We have queen beds with the little fancy, you can make it go up and down. And then the couch, we have had people sleeping on the couch. And then I have like a rollaway cot in the garage.
You have a maximum number of guests of 6,
Yeah,
which is fine. You'd like to make the quiet hours?
The quiet hours, because this is a quiet neighborhood, and I start out on my little advertisement with Airbnb, this is not a party place. If you want a place to party, look elsewhere. And this is a quiet community, a little quiet neighborhood, and the guests that we have had when we had our license were quiet people, except for one group of guests. But everyone else has been kind of older, in town for sports or shopping or hospital or doctor's appointments.
So what, 9 p.m. to 8 a.m.?
No, when you check in, it's quiet time. When you check out, it's quiet time. We don't know. It's quiet. Now, you can cook out in the backyard, but you're going to do it quietly.
Okay, I'm going to put 8 p.m. to 8 a.m.
Okay, that's fine. And I may have put that on my rules from the last time I was here, because I didn't really realize, but then now I'm a little more educated than I was on the first time.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's appreciated. So, and it's the first time this has come up, and so it'd be a term of 1 year,
Yes.
a 1-year term.
Yeah, and this time I'll pay more attention to when it will expire.
Because there was, I think you were actually reported on May 8th, I believe it was, that you were operating without a license.
And I think we pay, when did you pay the?
right after this, I don't remember the day, but I paid that,
Yeah,
whatever they give us the ticket, I paid
Yeah,
that.
we paid a ticket because we were expired. I believe it was
I think
in
that was,
May.
she was trying to get all the paperwork after that tornado hit her house, and that's when we got all late on the paperwork.
Well,
Yep. So
in
they filed the application.
2004, I had sent everything in electronically, and then the little storm hit my house, and I had a lot of damage, and I was working with roofers, and I got a scammer, and I tried to get the and they never said they received it, and I thought, okay, I don't have time to argue with the city of Oklahoma City, because I'm arguing with these scammers and my insurance company. So I didn't do anything until this year. But there was, we did have some guests, and I forget if they were in town for the softball game or something. They were here and gave me a sad story. And
Okay.
Nobody
Anything else?
signed up
You ready?
on this one? Anybody want to address the board on this application?
And I am my own management company, and David is the cleaner because he used to work at the Oklahoma Blood Institute for several years. And
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve case number 15944 on the basis that it meets the statutory requirement for a special exception. The modifications of a maximum number of guests to be 6, quiet hours from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., maximum number of vehicles to be 2 with no on-street parking during quiet hours for a term of 1 year.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Cast your votes.
thank you, I appreciate it.
Approved.
Item number 32 is an application by John T. View to allow home sharing located at 704 Northwest 27th Street. And this one did have a recommendation of approval by the HP Commission.
Okay. Okay, give us your name and address and tell us about your application, please.
My name is John Vu. My address is 912 Northwest 25th Street. I am seeking a renewal for my home sharing license. The house is 2 beds, 1 bath, roughly, I think, 900 square feet.
All right. Nobody signed up on this one. Does anybody want to address the board on this application? Nope.
And there were no written protests in the
I didn't
application
see
either.
any.
You have a 2-bedroom home with a maximum of 4 guests. I'd like to add quiet hours from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m. So
Yes.
just change that a little bit. A maximum number of vehicles to be 2 with no on-street parking, and for a term of 3 years as a renewal.
Perfect.
Okay,
Good.
I'm good.
I'd like to make a motion to approve case number 15933 on the basis that it meets the statutory requirement for a special exception with the modifications of a maximum number of guests to be 4, quiet hours 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., maximum number of vehicles to be 2 with no on-street parking for a term of 3 years.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Cast your votes.
Thank you.
You're approved.
Item number 33, case number 15935, is an application by Olga Ferrari on behalf of Rancho Bueno LLC to allow home sharing at 4205 Tamarisk Drive.
Hi again, my name is Monica Linvio. We understand there has been a concern raised about this Airbnb. Fortunately, the management that the company originally hired to oversee the property informed us that a permit was not necessary. So I just want to say all my points. We became aware that the permit is not transferable and we have to start a new one. Since we started the process of ending our relationship with that company, which is Talentos Investment, we are fully committed to managing this property with the framework of the law involving moving forward.
So you own the property?
The Rancho Bueno Investment. Those
They own the
owners. I'm
property,
representing
and now
them,
you're
yes.
the new property manager?
Yes, the new property management. Also, I would like to address the complaint with the Green HOA complaint. I just want to say that in regard of this complaint from the Greens HOA, we will never, I just want to respectfully say and clarify that we are the legal owners of the property and our mailing address is currently, and we never change it, and it's correct. We have never been notified of any concerns by the HOA, no a single letter, notice, or complaint, either a writing or verbal, has been ever sent to us. The first and only written communication that we have received regarding any issue with the property was the email that was forwarded to us by the city in May 2025, just kind of like a week ago. We sincerely apologize if our previous misunderstanding caused any disruption or discomfort to our neighbors. It was never our intention to operate outside of the law or negatively impact our community, which is the Greens. Now we are fully committed to following and allowing the city regulations and ensuring that the use of the property aligns with the standard of the expectation of the neighborhood. Also, in regard of the HOA recent claim about the property in the Greens neighborhood, I want to clarify that the house is not in poor condition. The landscaping is also well maintained and has not been neglected. The property remains in the same condition as when we purchased that property and fully meets the standard of the neighborhood. We also want to inform you that we have decided yesterday night that we are not going to proceed with the Airbnb permit for this property. We sincerely apologize if we cause any inconvenience to the neighborhood. However, we want to make it clear that we have always kept the property in good condition. That's something that really bothers us because the property is kept nice and clean and pretty as always since we bought it. So, contrary to what the HOS says, so we would like to note that the current Airbnb guest is leaving next week on June 15, and we kindly ask the guests to allow and complete their stay until that date. And after June 15, we are not having further guests, and we are not going to be operating as an Airbnb, and so there is no more complaints, and the HOA has to be in peace that we are not going to disrupt. This is a nice neighborhood, and I just want to clarify that the owners didn't live in the state. They live in Miami. They didn't know that this was going on, and we don't want to cause any inconvenience to nobody. They have to be in peace. Now they understand that the Green is a neighborhood, it's an upscale neighborhood. They were not aware of that. They just bought a property and they just put it with the management for an Airbnb, and they didn't know better. So I just want to apologize if we just, in any case, so we just, made somebody mad. That was not our intention at all, and we apologize, and that's all we have to say.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I understood what you said, and that was that you have a renter till June 15th? And
We
then
have
after that, you're choosing to not short-term lease
Do
this
not
anymore?
move forward, yes, sir. So,
Okay, but you
and
have, if you get an approval, you'll still have the right to be able to do that. Let's hear, is everyone signed up to speak?
Oh, yeah.
I thought there might be.
we don't want to do the Airbnb anymore. This is a nice neighborhood, so there is no point.
Okay.
Are you withdrawing your application?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I just want to end, we have some guests over there. They are going to leave on June 15, and we would like to please leave them just until that terms, because we are not going to send them, to the streets, and they have families. So that's all.
we can make a motion to withdraw the application?
Yes, but we would like to keep them until the 15th so they can leave, That's the only thing we're asking. We are not asking for more.
We can't grant a temporary approval, so withdrawing it today with a short-term rental, you're in violation.
Right.
So let me continue then until June 15th. So I already paid the fee and everything. So let me continue until June 15th.
We can't grant that.
We can grant a continuance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me keep doing the application until June 15th, and that's all I'm asking.
And then your application will still be in, your license is expired, but you have an application in. I think that will take care of situation.
And then just when it's finished, you can let staff know to withdraw the application so that it doesn't get scheduled.
Yeah, so let me just continue until June 15, and that's all I'm asking, please,
Okay.
if I can do
and,
that.
And in fairness to these people who came down here, I'd love to hear from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do apologize. I didn't want to cause any inconvenience. That I say the owners, they live in Miami first. They bought that property as an investment property, and they were not aware that this is an upscale neighborhood, So that's just want to say on their defense.
No, and that's fine. And I remember the original owner, and so he must have sold this property. And
Yeah, so they
it's
didn't know
fine.
that. So I'm so sorry if I caused any inconvenience to
No
somebody,
problems.
Okay.
That's all I want to say.
Let's hear from the first one.
Ralph, you want to go?
I'll accompany my client and let him speak first, Chairman Voorhees, if that's all right.
Sure, go ahead.
My name is Frank LaForce. My
Okay.
wife and I live at 4201 Tamarisk Drive, exactly one house next to the east of this property. When this first came up, we, as a neighborhood, offered this board a petition with 20 names to deny this variance. And you passed it anyway. When the new, and I've lived there 10 years, and this is the fourth owner. When the young couple came, I went over as a good neighbor and introduced myself. They informed me that they were going to live there, which they did not. One of my objections to this then and is now that an Airbnb, no matter what anybody wants to try and tell you, does diminish the value of the property around it. I'm an older gentleman and intended to sell this at some point in the next few years, and I've been told by our realtor that this is not a good time unless this is denied and we won't get the value we could have several years ago. My first real complaint is this house, no matter what she says, does not have what I refer to as curb appeal. If you drive up our neighborhood and you come to our house and then look at theirs, you can tell immediately what I'm talking about. We spend a considerable amount of time, my wife and I, making our yard look extremely presentable. My next complaint is they leave the garbage containers within about 8-9 feet of my driveway. They're visible from the street. They have a number of people in there, which means the garbage cans get full, and I have to pick up trash that blows out of them, and sometimes, depending on what all's in them, I can smell them. That is not a very neighborly way to take care of things. The other thing is, on more than one occasion, there have been more than, I think the application says 16. I know that there have been more than that in there at any one time. Also, I know that that's got a circle drive in front of it, but there is no way to accommodate 13 vehicles off the street. And I say 13 because there have been an occasion when there were 13 vehicles parked in front of that house. The other thing is, we have, and I have called a number of the telephone number for the young lady that gave it to me that said she was the owner or represented the owner to complain about noise late at night. I've also, when I couldn't get an answer, gone over and knocked on the door and asked people to refrain from playing their music loud enough that I can hear it inside my house. I know that several other neighbors have complained when we've been out of town about these same issues. I also realizing, having sat on this board in the past, that you have limited ability to enforce what you put in writing that is a demand for them having these variances. Our only recourse, of course, is to file complaints, which typically we do to the owner. We don't go to the trouble to come downtown or call code enforcement. And because of these oppositions to the use of property in our neighborhood for Airbnb, we oppose you allowing this variance to be approved.
Thanks.
Okay.
My name is Ralph Salusti. I live in the Greens as well. My office address is 4301 Southwest 3rd Street. My home address is 13108 St. Andrews Drive. My client has stated the case fairly well, Chairman Voorhees and council and members. I would only say that an LLC in Miami, Florida, and Rancho Bueno LLC is a foreign LLC. No disclosure has been made as to the members of that LLC, nor as to the manager of that LLC. And I think if I understood what their representative said, they are not going forward with this application. Is that what she said?
I think we decided we will give her a continuance, which would be July 17 next meeting, and after the current tenant guest is out, they'll withdraw the application.
That's what I understood as well.
I don't want to put word in your mouth, but that's what I heard.
I understood that as well, and if that's the case, we'll come the 17th to make sure that has happened. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
I would like to say something. We never ever receive a letter. They did all this. They have a lawyer, they have everything. But why they didn't send just a single letter complaining about the maintenance of the property? That's what we are also kind of like, we don't understand. The first writing notice that we received that the property was not in good condition is the one that Miss Cynthia forwarded to us. That's the only thing that we received. So I would really appreciate if they want to say something about the property, send a writing, send a letter, or send something to say something, so we will be aware of what was going on. And as I said, they didn't know that this was happening. That was the main issue of everything. So when they became aware, we are just ending this because we do understand that this neighborhood is an upscale neighborhood. They didn't. When you buy a property, when you are not in the state, you don't know the neighborhood until you live in the city. You just heard about the Greens and Nickel Hills or Northwest Oklahoma City, but you don't know what kind of properties those are. So that's only I want to say, and I do apologize for any inconvenience. That was not that intention. So I'm so sorry. We apologize.
And maybe you can share your contact information with them, and they'll have it directly.
Yes, and I didn't want to mean to interfere or,
Yep.
to
With
make
that,
nobody mad.
I'd love to make a motion to continue if you're in agreement.
I just want to, end with those guests that we have right now, and then that's it. We're moving forward. We are not going to do this
Okay.
anymore. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I will make a motion to recommend continuing case number 15935 to July 17th.
Second?
Okay, motion and a second to continue. Cast your votes. See you on the 17th.
I want to understand correctly, so we just can, it's until July 17th.
We're continued to July 17th, yes.
Okay.
Contact staff in order to make any
Okay.
other adjustments.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, make arrangements for everything, because we are just ending the relationship with this previous management company, and we're starting new. Thank you.
Got it. Okay.
Sure.
Yep, go ahead, one more.
The July 17th will be at 1:30, and if Bueno Realty LLC withdraws the application, the hearing will be moot. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
33.
34.
Item number 34, case number 15936, is an application by Olga Ferrari on behalf of Rancho Bueno LLC to allow home sharing, 7300 Northwest 13th Street. I think I'm hungry.
Again, my name is Monica Limbil. I'm trying to defend this case again. I hope I can defend this one.
Just tell us a little bit about the property.
Yes.
the case.
The property address is located at 7300 Northwest 13th Street. The property is 1546 square feet. It has 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, and we were requesting 12 initially, but now we understand that is in the accommodation that we have, probably we can ask for only 9 or 8. We understand that. I just here to respectfully support our application for home sharing permit for our property located in Oklahoma City. This home is spacious and well suited for hosting with 3 large bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, 1 living room, 1 dining, a laundry room, offering plenty of comfortable accommodation for guests. The home is ideal for families, professionals, or groups seeking peaceful and spatial environment. Additionally, the property includes a heated swimming pool. In the primary bedroom, we have a 1 queen bed that sleeps 2 adults, also 1 queen sleeper sofa that can sleep 2 additional guests, and a private full bathroom, total accommodate of 4 guests in that bedroom. In the second bedroom, we have a queen bed. We can sleep 2 guests. In the third bedroom, we have a bunk bed. It's a full-size mattress in the bottom with a twin mattress in the top that can comfortably accommodate 3 guests. And then in the living room, we have a sofa bed. So it's up to you how many people you want to give us to stay in the house, but we are asking to please at least have 8 because the house have 1543 square feet and it's kind of like a spacious home. So that's all we are asking. We kindly request to be granted a permit to operate our Airbnb with a maximum occupancy of 8 people or 9. It's up to you. It's not up to me.
Anyone signed up to speak?
Yes. I have Sarah Brown.
This has been quite an education for me. I had no idea. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Yeah. Yeah.
Give us your name and address and tell us
My
about
name
your
is Sarah
objection.
Brown. I live directly across the street, 7301 Northwest 13th. This is my son, Max Brown. I'm totally unprepared for today. Quickly jotted down something on a paper maybe you've already read. I'll just kind of ad-lib it if you don't mind. My main concern is safety. Too many cars, too many people, no idea who's over there. Didn't know it was an Airbnb. I just thought new neighbors coming in, and they had a welcoming party when they first came. Clothes all over the yard, trash everywhere. Odd, but to each his own. I am concerned about parking. They park on both sides of the street. It is a dead end. There's no way to get out except coming back east. You cannot get your car through there. Up until this point, you probably would have had numerous complaints if I'd known who you were. I don't know who you are,
yes.
so I know now. I will fix that. Let me see what else. I had an altercation with one of the tenants. I don't know if she was a tenant, if she was a guest. She parked in front of my carport. I couldn't get in or out of my carport. We asked her to move. We got into an argument. Luckily, the driver of that car escorted that lady away from me. Last weekend, my son had to call the police. There were people fist fighting in their yard. Concern to me, I have grandchildren. There was one more thing. Let me see. Had the altercation and the parking and the fist fight. If I had been a good record keeper, I'd have jotted in a journal. Had I known. I have hindsight now. I will document everything. And I will call police regularly, believe me. I appreciate you all being here. I had no idea this was even here, that we could complain or come and fight for our rights. We live in a quiet, dead-end street. I would like to return to that. In fact, you can come visit me and stay with me and see what goes on across the street for your own evidence.
Yeah, if I can say something, that was a previous management. We are trying to take care of it.
Address
Yeah,
no, not each other, address the board.
I will go forward and contact her.
Yeah.
But can I ask
I'm
a
so
question?
sorry about that.
May I ask a question?
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any rule or anything that people coming in with businesses like this could warn the neighbors of what they're doing? Or it's up to me to go be
You
nosy?
get noticed.
You get notice of this application.
Right. If you're
Time?
within
This
300
is-
feet, you probably got noticed about a month ago, maybe longer.
No, I never got a notice. And this has been going on
Yeah.
since before.
So everyone within 300 feet of that property got a letter from the city of Oklahoma City.
Oh.
So there is contact, but get her contact
Okay, I'll
information.
look.
And I have one other question for you.
Sure.
And how long has this been operating as an Airbnb prior to today?
Oh, gosh.
To your best
My
recollection.
altercation was Thanksgiving. See, we've been watching the renovation. I was very friendly with the neighbors before they moved, and then they sold out, and we thought, oh, cool, new people coming in. And so we thought, well, they're having a party, kind of thing, so, but it kept going. Okay, does he able to say or no?
Yeah, he can talk.
Yeah, if you want to give us your name and address, go ahead.
My name is Max Brown. I live at 7301 Northwest 13th Street, right across. Yeah, this has probably been on for like a year, and I just had no clue what was going on. I just assumed after a while that people were just renting it out, and there was no contact from anyone. So I wouldn't even know I didn't even know who to contact about it. So, yeah. Pretty much just the same things that she said. They've just had like a lot of parties. I can't even count the number of people that are at these parties. Not only is it a dead-end street, but right on the corner, there's a fire hydrant. And we've had to call the police a couple times because people are blocking the fire hydrant. And that happens quite a lot, so.
Okay, and I'm going to just tell you that there's no documentation from Action Center calls. So that's another place you can call is the Oklahoma City Action Center, or even just send in an email. And that will build a case against this. What I'm going to propose today is that this has been operating for at least 7 months illegally without a special exception. So for me, I'd be a no today on this application. And so it wouldn't pass with just the three of us. So you can take a continuance, and what I'd suggest is a continuance till the end of the year.
Okay.
Come back at the end of the year, we'll relook at this, but no short-term leases between now and then.
Okay. Okay.
And then you'll also be able to contact her and
Yeah.
My neighbor.
Yeah, we only have one in December, right? Okay.
She apparently has.
Oh, would you speak into the microphone? They're recording this.
Oh, I'm sorry. My neighbor, Shelley, lives to the west of that house, and she has had several, I hopefully have reported several. Okay.
No.
Okay.
So you have to get those reported or we don't know.
Can reports come in now, like a lengthy explanation of history? And we address it to this?
Put it to the Action Center.
Action Center, gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, December 4 is our December meeting. That's year
January.
end.
We don't know January yet, do we? Maybe.
We do.
December 4th is fine.
Wait,
8th and January 22nd.
shoot, it's already been posted. We're good for January 8 or January 22.
We'll go January 8th. Continue it till January 8th?
Okay.
Okay.
I just one suggestion, so I can say something. We still have some person booked until I believe it's kind of like the 21st, so we cannot just send it out. But after that,
You have
yeah.
somebody booked till?
Yeah, and
Okay.
June 21st.
I mean, that's totally
Yeah.
on
And
you. I
then,
mean, you're
yeah.
operating this illegally as we speak.
No,
so.
but we don't want to keep doing that. We didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just want to make
that's what
sure that that was a previous management. We were not aware, believe me, we were not aware of that. So I just.
Okay, now address the
A new
board,
date.
please.
Yeah, you have to talk through us.
Yeah.
To us,
Yeah,
please.
so I just want to make sure, that they didn't
and
know.
I understand that, and so we're good. If you're willing to take that continuance till
Yeah,
till
and I will come back later, like you say, at the end of the year and again
yeah
to just do
January
that.
8th.
January 8th's the meeting.
Okay.
You
I'm
good with
okay
that?
with that.
You good with that? Can I do that, Sarah?
I mean, I think staff would prefer it stays on at least the calendar year. We're just thinking
can
out
do that.
loud. We're just thinking out loud.
December
To the first meeting in December.
4th.
Okay,
That's plenty of time for them to get that figured
Yeah.
out.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Do you renotice a continuance?
No.
We do not.
I think so. So there won't be new notice, so you'll have to put that down in your calendar, okay?
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
And if there's an HOA in that neighborhood?
There isn't.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Okay. With that, I'd like to make a motion to continue case number 15936 to the December 4th, 2025 meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second. Cast your votes.
Second? Was that December 2nd?
4th.
4th, thank you. I apologize for my sunglasses, but I broke my other ones this morning.
No problem.
Can't see. Can't see.
All right, we'll see you back December 4th.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 35, case number 15887 is an application by Stanley G. Williamson and John C. Williamson to allow home sharing at 3008 North Robinson Avenue.
Good afternoon. My name is Stan Williamson, and my business office is 1616 East 19th Street, Suite 201, Edmond, Oklahoma. I'm the applicant in this application. The home in question is 3008 North Robinson. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, older home, built in 1930s. It sets back from the street pretty far. I'm just asking for an exception of this for short-term rental.
Can I ask, has this been operating as a short-term rental?
No,
So it hasn't
it's
currently?
been under a long-term situation for a long time.
A long-term rental? Okay. There's an or in the application, there's a protest in there, and it just,
From Ms. Prescott?
yes, it is.
Yeah, I addressed it with an email, tried to satisfy her, but obviously she's got some,
You know, it just sounds, the description sounded like it was a short-term rental.
yeah.
But she has your information, or you've
She
sent
has
her
all
an
my
email?
information. I try to make it perfectly clear. That was in the past, and what's going to happen in the future has no direction where it is now.
Okay. And anyone sign up to speak?
Nope, not on this one. Anybody left want to address the board on this one? I guess we're ready for
Okay,
it.
so let's go through the application just a little bit. It's a 2-bedroom home,
Yes, please.
and so it's a maximum of 2 guests?
I think I put 4 down on there.
I mean, 4 guests, sorry, yes, you did. And is it the ADU in the back? Or is it the main home, or trying to?
You know, that house was built so long ago.
It's
and
just
set
pushed
back so
far back. I just wasn't sure.
I don't know if that's the original home. See, I've only owned it about 7 years.
Okay, no, it's fine. I'd like to make the quiet hours from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m.
That's fine.
and a maximum number of vehicles just to be 3,
That's fine.
and no on-street parking, and for a term of 1 year.
Okay.
Good?
Okay.
Now, can I ask some clarification? After the 1 year, what happens when you can get a longer term?
So if you run a good business and you have no protests and you come back, we usually give 3.
Oh, okay. All right. And
The maximum is 5.
I see. Do I need to do anything else?
Just wait for the vote.
Oh, my bad.
No problem. With that, I'd like to make a motion to approve case number 15887 on the basis that it meets the statutory requirement for a special exception with the following modifications of maximum guest number to be 4, quiet hours from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., a maximum number of vehicles to be 3, no on-street parking for a term of 1 year.
Second.
Motion and a second. Cast your votes. You're approved.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks.
And ladies.
Item number 36 is case number 15937. It's an application by Colette Neff of OKC Cabin Home LLC to allow home sharing 8601 Hilltop Lane.
I think we skipped out the protesters.
Hello, my name is Colette Knapp. I'm here to renew my home sharing, 8601 Hilltop Lane.
Can you tell us a little bit about it? I mean, I remember most of it, so.
So the last time that we were here, you guys granted the main dwelling, and then we had to go through a process to show that we got the certificate of occupancy, which we did that. I think that went through maybe in October, possibly.
So the first time we did
We did 8.
the 4
and then we
bedrooms and 8
did-
guests
And then we did an additional 6.
for the ADU or the secondary cabin.
Yes.
And that
And
was
so far
approved
since-
last time. How many vehicles did I approve? Do you remember?
We
Or
did
did
6
approve
initially, and then we were asking for 10.
vehicles.
So, and then we were going to put if we got approved for that, make it where
Right.
they can park in the back.
And I also remember that you guys yourself as owners use the property
Yeah, we use this as our second home.
and have family events
Correct.
and
I mean,
other
we're
things
probably
there.
about, we've been about 20% or less for Airbnb.
Occupancy for that?
Rentals.
Okay. Because it's hard to read the protest and know if it's you guys or if
Yeah, I mean, when
it's somebody else.
the
And I-
protest that she referenced, we barely were even booked. The month of April, we probably had 1 or 2 bookings.
Yep.
So on that protest, she mentioned a date that's when we were actually using it. I gave them my phone number when we left here to call with anything. Nobody was allowed. There was nobody outside. Everybody was gone by 7 o'clock.
And I also remember there is kind of an HOA, but is it a active HOA in the neighborhood? And the CCNRs were also a little,
No, we're not a part of, when we purchased the home, we weren't a part of the HOA, but
that's what
a
I
few
remember.
that had.
Right. Okay, anyone signed up?
Anybody want
No
to
one
address the
came.
board on this one? Ready for a motion?
So,
I
and
think?
really what I'd like to do, if it's all right with you, is just basically just renew the same, right? You don't want to add any additional guests, do you?
No, we're fine with leaving it at 14. We just said for 10 because we have room. And we don't mind them parking behind our gate if they don't like looking at a few cars in front of the house.
I mean, the number of cars, I said 6? That's what we maximized that
We
at?
had 6 because we were only approved for 8, so, I mean,
So the
we're
fir-
very selective on people that we approve for this. We're very respectful. We treat it as if, we're there, like our grandparents are living across the street.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things that we actually do decline out of respect for the neighborhood. We put on there, this is a retired elderly community. Keep everything in the back. Our house is very far away from the main street. So, I mean, most of the time, if anybody is out there behind the property and talking stuff like that, you can't.
So in the original application, it was just the 8 guests in the main home.
Yeah, and then we got it renewed for an additional 6.
On the renewal, it was
Changed it.
14. So it's 14 from the last one.
Correct.
I just didn't want to change that. And I'm going to leave the quiet hours at, can I go to 9 PM to 8 AM? That's what we've been doing on every single one. And on the cars,
We increased the cars to the 10?
10?
Yeah.
I mean, you can fit them on your driveway. It's,
I mean, if you
Looks
look at
like
the
it.
property.
We fit them on the
you can fit-
driveway.
Yeah, I'll go to
We
10.
normally don't even allow our guests to park on the street. There
and
was
I'm
one
going to
day-
leave it with no on-street parking.
That was an exception because there was a whole bunch of rain or something like that was going on, and they were there less than 2 hours.
So, and then last time on the renewal, we just did 1 year?
We did 1 year, and we were going for 3 years for this go-around.
Okay. So 3 for the second renewal. We're good.
Okay.
Good. With that, we'll make a motion to approve case number 15937 on the basis that it meets the statutory requirement for a special exception with the modifications of maximum number of guests to be 14, quiet hours from 9 PM to 8 AM, maximum number of vehicles to be 10 with no on-street parking for a term of 3 years.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Cast your votes. You're approved.
Thank you.
I think my wife just
Hooray.
Let's take some of my kids.
All right, we'll run through the rest real quick. I don't have any additional items. We don't have any committees. And I think it's time to elect Roberto and Emily Kay, since they're not here.
So what do we have to do? Officers?
Yes.
Today, yeah, your last item is the election of your chair and vice chair for next year. And I
Okay.
will have one quick thing as staff when you're done.
Oh, okay.
So I would like to make a motion to
Roberto?
um,
Usually,
have Mike Voorhees become the chair, the willing chair of the Board of Adjustments.
do that one more year, okay. Yeah, but we'll be here for a while if I don't vote yes, so. All right, I think I heard a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. Or vote.
Well,
I'm waiting.
To vote for yourself.
and then you can make a motion.
Are you doing vice chair separately?
Yes. Because the motion was just chair.
Okay. You have to have 3.
Wait a minute, there we go. Motion. I heard a second. Waiting.
Did everybody vote? Okay. You didn't vote.
I did the first conversation, so I was like,
All right, thank you.
Now.
Vice chair. Don, you want to do it again?
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Don for vice chair.
Okay. I don't think I can second. If I
Second.
can, I will, but no.
No, you can't.
I know. Okay. So now I heard a motion and a second. Cast your votes.
Didn't make that motion.
Okay. Don, you have anything to say? Rita?
No. Congratulations.
Thank you. I don't see any citizens to be heard. I don't have any other business. I think we're adjourned.
No, Sarah needs to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot you.
Just going to give you, well, besides congratulations and thank you for your service, I just wanted to update you that the proposed fee increase went to City Council on Tuesday, and it was deferred at City Council. There were, really the only item that anyone spoke about is the proposed fee for home sharing special exceptions. So the council continued that till the next meeting.
Okay.
1100.
Okay.
Every other
Now
special
I'm
exception
adjourned.
is 1100.
Okay, thank you.
That's why they just moved it back to the floor.